You showed up tonight, convinced that we were never broken. But girl, you never listen, you think it's what it isn't. Can't you see that? Every time we give in, we're heading for a dead end. I've got to say it. Don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but we should know. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go. I'm not the enemy. I'm just trying to be honest. This isn't meant to be. You're only making this harder. We've gone around in circles. Wish I could reverse it, but it's not that easy. Ain't nothing gonna save us. All that's left is chaos. Baby, don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but we should know. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go. You know I love you, baby, but I can't take it. No matter what we do, we're not gonna make it. You know I love you, baby, but I can't take it. No matter what we do, we're not gonna make it. Don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but we should know. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go.
Everybody's got to believe in something. Everybody's got to believe in something. Everybody's got to believe in something. Break it down.
GSL 10주년이라 드디어 올 것이 왔군. 좋아, 이제 한번 제대로 시작해볼까? 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드 S 쇼다운. 자, 한판 붙어보자고. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GSL Code S. We're here in Group E, and today is going to kick a lot of ass. So far, I know we started late for StarCraft, but with both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, the games have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they have been. I think that last group that we just had for GSL Code S was amazing. We had a great time casting that. Make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it yet. And the group we have today, it's an interesting one. I think we have several possibilities of who can advance alongside TY.
That's right. TY casting this GSL and the last few GSLs that we've had, but he's still in a condition where he's very likely to get very deep in the tournament. So today, on the Korean side, we actually have Curious, our backup commentator, if TY continues to win this tournament. But the rest of the group also, it's going to be fascinating to see who comes out on top.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a fun-filled day today. This is the second last group in this round. Here are the four groups that we have already had with our players moving forward. Sue and Bunny, Innovation Scarlet, Zeskure, and Ragnarok Parting. Good set of players right there.
Real quick, for the people that are tuning in right now, as in people that watch right when the show starts, I want to do a quick reminder here. The next group will start at 5 p.m. KST, not at 6:30 p.m. KST when we normally start. That'll be the Wednesday cast. So yeah, do mark that down. You don't want to tune in at the normal time and find out you're missed half the show.
We'll remind you a little bit later on as well at the end. But yeah, we're going to have the group selection that day as well to see what those round of 16 groups are going to end up looking like. Don't forget we have our seeds into that as well. Yeah, and also just before we forget, ASL Finals tomorrow.
That's right. On the same YouTube channel that you're watching now, the ASL Finals will be on. It'll be Queen versus Last. You do not want to miss it. Flash losing in an upset. ASL incredibly competitive. And that'll be at 7 p.m. KST. Now, on to our group today. This is a really exciting group. So many different types of players here. TY, Bomber. That's right. Bomber is back. Armani and Deer.
Yeah. So we have two players that have finished their military service and two people that are just very strong and have been for a long time. So obviously the favorites should be TY and Deer, but I don't think it's impossible for Armani to get out of here in the right set of matches. Armani has been coming up. He has been looking really strong. So I think there is a possibility that he can advance alongside TY. The thing is, I think that things would have to go pretty wrong for TY. Like, he'd have to hit an elimination match against Deer to fall out. I can't imagine him losing against Bomber. I can't imagine him losing to Armani either.
I know a lot of people that are going to be rooting for Bomber here. He was an old favorite back in the day. He was the guy who was dominating the global circuit in the very, 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 very first parts of StarCraft 2. But again, we don't know how he's going to perform here today. He's certainly a veteran as far as experience goes, but he's going against the very, very best here right now. Now, TY, easily top 3 Terrans of all time in StarCraft 2. He really seems to know the game in and out. He has a very deep understanding. He'll be going against the veteran, but also fairly inactive Bomber. At least for some time he was inactive. He has qualified now. This should be a match TY can win, but let's see what Bomber has planned.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Bomber continues to raise his level up and we can see some great things out of him. It seems like a long shot to get out of this group, though, especially when your first opponent is TY. Yeah, TY is a player that he's so unbelievably consistent, and it's like one of the travesties in the world that he doesn't have a Code S title.
I know, it's weird.
Doesn't even make sense. Like, the fact that this guy hasn't been a world champion or a GSL champion, something's wrong.
Yeah, he's just been a step or two away from ever achieving that. You know, second places and great close games at that. We're going to start this off on Golden Wall, our pretty unique map. We'll unpack that more as the game starts. TY versus Bomber. Game 1 starts now.
전투 준비 완료.
One by one, soon they all will sing the song. Going down.
Quick update here.
Performance
ASL Finals
lapse.
tomorrow, 5
LG
p.m.
울트라 기어와
Not 7 p.m. I said 7 p.m.
에너지들이
earlier. I was wrong.
아식스가
Sorry.
이번 전투를 지원한다고. T1 전태양. MGP 마모 최지성.
All right. So, let's take a look here. DY, the double proxy barracks play.
Yeah. Very cool. I don't know if we're going to get to talk much about the way this map is, depending on whether or not Bomber actually survives this rush, but this map is split into a larger upper platform and a smaller lower platform, with gold bases as part of the wall. That's why the map gets the name it gets. But immediately, TY, in some sense, ignoring a lot of the features of the map, and maybe Bomber came in here with some big plans for a unique way to approach this map, and instead TY is going to blindside him with a rush.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very tricky one, too, because he has that barracks at home as well.
Yes.
So he has the full wall. It's going to be a little bit hard to scout. And, I mean, 3 racks Reaper, that's some deadly stuff right there.
Yeah, well, he'll be able to come in here immediately and do quite a bit of damage, especially with Reapers being made out of the barracks here for Bomber. I mean, TY is just going to have a lot more. So let's see how quickly Bomber can react, but definitely this is going to be a handful here for Bomber. I'm not sure what he can do with this. He's going to check for any proxies up there. He goes back. And very soon, as Reapers are coming out in waves of 3s, this is going to come in, and that moment's going to be now.
All right, this is going to be a little bit scary here for Bomber.
Good reaction by Bomber to pull away immediately.
Yeah.
That Marine behind the wall.
Nice grenade there. All the SCVs running down. Cancels, I think rightfully so.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move. Remakes the command center up there.
Yeah, not starting a bunker or anything, though. Makes me a bit nervous for him.
Yeah, he's saying that he's confident holding this off with control alone. No structural defense to help out. And again, he's going to poke in here. Continuing to chip away at the entrance here. Now remember, these SCVs are not mining, so even though Bomber hangs on, his income is plummeted as this goes on.
Yeah,
oh, great grenade there, popping
God.
those SCVs out.
Yeah, starting to lose quite a bit here. 9 SCVs already going down. Of course, this puts him still above TY's SCV count, which is kind of funny.
Yes, but I think it could start getting worse here for him. More Reapers are continuing to come out in 3s, which is only going to amp up the damage. The Hellion will be helpful, especially with the ramp bottlenecking the attack, but of course we all know Reapers can jump up, as we're going to see right here, so they can actually shoot down the SCV if they want. That's attacking over there and diving on the great grenades there, actually catching that Hellion, even if it did pull away in time. And now the damage continues to mount, and the moment that these SCVs do, if they do corner them, they'll be able to jump down. The Reapers will be able to jump down onto the low ground here.
A lot of damage still being dealt here. These SCVs getting very, very bruised. As the Hellion pops out, he has killed a decent amount of Reapers at this point.
But, you know, that's it, GG. I was going to say every shot that the Reapers do, there's nothing to heal the SCVs. So when the Reapers come back in, which they inevitably will do, it's going to be that much more damage. So TY brilliantly snowballing that game. We never saw a bunker come down for Bomber. I don't think it's the easy situation to handle. I think Bomber really was not anticipating TY to rush there, but this is also why TY's had so much success, especially in best of 3s, best of 5s, best of 7s. He knows how to plan for that. And I know that all good players know how to win a series, but the way that he plans for them shows he really knows how to win with planning alone a lot of times.
Well, I wouldn't say all good players know how to win a series. We've seen some of them in this season.
I guess what I was trying to
question.
say is we have players that, yeah, if you're going to get a far in a tournament, you have to know how to win a series, but he knows how to plan it so that the build order alone should pull out.
Yeah,
And of course-
it's like you don't even need to practice Cold Wall if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. And you know what? I bet Bomber practiced that a decent amount, so already his practice going to waste. Map 2, Nightshade, TY versus Bomber continues on.
전투 준비 완료.
One by one, soon they all will sing the song going down.
T1 전태양. 팀 GP 바머 최지성.
So TY immediately dials it back here with a Rax gas opening. Now, even though Bomber got smashed in game 1, that is obviously no representation of where he's really at here. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what kind of games Bomber's going to show here in Codes just yet.
Well, hopefully he can actually put something together here and show us a reasonable game. I want Bomber to do well. This is a player that has such a storied history, such an exciting player from back in the day. Who can forget, are you ready for bombing? I mean, it's truly just...
It's going to go in our Hall of Fame of great.
Yeah, of our great quotes.
Great quotes here.
Top 3 control. Are you ready for bombing? What are some other great quotes, Tasteless? I am Nada. That was a great moment.
Obama toss.
Well, I mean, that wasn't like a great quote set on stage, though, right? I'm talking about like great quotes that Korean programmers set on stage.
Quote. Yeah, I'm kind of mangled.
He destroyed
Phrase.
my mental. That's a great
My
one.
mentality has been exploded.
Yeah, my mentality has been
exploded. One thing though about TVT is, I think in the earlier days when Bomber was at his best, TVT, it showed that there were a lot of, very early on, there was a lot of different ways that you could open up. I think it's somewhat more restricted now as far as unit comps at times, but
Okay.
You can kill somebody very quickly now in a TVT if you're much better than them. We see a lot of players just get knocked out.
Yeah. Also, if you make a Banshee, it doesn't automatically guarantee at least 10
11 kills, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't just immediately go to double-digit kills like it did back when Bomber was in his prime.
Right. Where every time a Banshee was made, even if it didn't have Cloak, it was guaranteed to kill
Only
a lot of stuff.
the best Foyu would not regularly get more than 10 kills with this Banshie
Because
it would fly
drive it into a turret. Yes.
Yeah. Don't ever forget, guys, when anyone tells you that the greatest days of StarCraft 2 were Wings of Liberty.
What is that with RTS where people that will say that the games were clearly better back when everybody was obviously worse and we didn't understand the game as well? What an odd
new
thing.
stuff is exciting, I think. So there's some nostalgia with that, but there's certainly no one's looking at those games because as soon as you go back and watch them, you're like, oh, and you puke in your mouth.
But we have this in StarCraft 1 as well.
Look at that well-placed command center there. Wow.
Yeah, yikes.
Anyways.
But yeah, this happens in StarCraft 1 as well, where people say the games were better back then, even though I think, especially in this season of ASL, we're having the best games ever.
Yeah, they're pretty sick. Quick third command there from TY.
So TY in a complete opposite play here from game 1. Game 1 it was 3 racks, and this in game 2 here it's 3 command centers here.
Wow. What will you do in game 3?
I don't know. 3 factories.
Oh, mech in game 3. All right. Nice.
Yeah, we'll take it. No, but he's going to go for a pretty heavy macro game here. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit slow for starts here.
Which is just fine for me. I'm really wanting to see Bomber in a more macro-esque game. He was very well known for his macro back in the day.
That was the big thing I wanted to see in this series with these two because TY does not have any hiccups in macro. He's very clean, and tactically he's very strong, but I want to see how Bomber matches him. It's hard to imagine Bomber in this era of StarCraft overcoming TY in a macro game in a game where they both have 3 bases or more, but
yeah. Why would you say that that would be surprising?
Because I think the way that TY is able to move and confront things on the map, and the fact that he never misses a beat, he never misses a depot, really,
Yeah.
in TVT, I can't imagine that Bomber coming back to this today would be able to out-muscle him.
Okay, how old do you think they are in comparison, actually, to each other? I don't know.
I actually don't know.
I would bet you that Bomber is 1 year older than TY. I'm going to check, because this is an interesting thing. They were both StarCraft 1 pros.
That's right.
That started around a similar time, if I recall
But
correctly.
TY has stayed around and had much more success.
Yes.
In the last, let's say, 5 years.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Maybe even a little bit more than that, actually.
okay, TY was born in 1994. And Bomber...
Artosis is looking this up on his phone as we...
Oh, never mind. He was born in 1988.
Oh, no kidding.
He's an old man.
He's a dinosaur.
Damn, he is 6 years older than TY. I had no idea.
Yeah, I actually thought they were much closer.
I thought that
in
they would
age.
be closer to that.
I thought that
because-
one was going to be a year older than the other.
Well, they became pros around a similar time, if I'm
Right.
recalling this correctly. And I know that TY was one of the youngest ever recruited.
TY was so young that at the time he was recruited as a StarCraft 1 pro,
Ready for dust off.
it was like kind of insane
was
to
big
even
news.
see somebody that little
Yeah,
on stage,
he was
you
a
know?
little tiny kid.
Yeah, he was a little baby.
Huh.
And so, but obviously he's stuck with it, and, you know, now he's a young man. But yeah, very, very, very different ages there. That's actually a lot different than I thought it was, really.
Yeah, 88, man. That's like...
Now we have...
He's less Bomber, more Boomer. Am I right?
Nice. By the way, it looks like Bomber's going to try to catch this. And actually, good save boosted out by TY. Now you got to be careful with these two unit comps, 2 tanks versus 8 Marines, and then 16 Marines on the other side, because 16 Marines can actually beat that if they get the right stim and engage there. So he's going to back up. Now this is the moment I was waiting for. I wanted to see the movement patterns here in the middle of the map.
Yeah. Well, this is somewhere that TY really excels. You know, he's very, very good at getting into good positions and outmaneuvering his opponent.
Okay, very good pull away there. And he stayed. Immediate unsiege, by the way, for Bomber, as he wants to stay very fluid here on the map. And he's going to actually try to come around, and in kind of a weird moment, there's this isolated tank. And I'm not clear on where the rest of the armor even is here, but this tank easily goes down. That'll give Bomber, it should give Bomber a little bit of a leg up on trying to set up. And Bomber disabling the tank, stimming forward. An attack comes here from behind.
Oh my god, TY screwed up with his Raven there, unable to cast the spells. Kept trying to cast and get out of range, but it did not work out.
I felt like that Bomber was going to win that much more handedly.
Well, it seemed like everything went right for him, and then he still lost it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We definitely saw the same thing there. It was,
Yeah, I was like, wow, Bomber did 3 or 4 things completely perfectly,
yeah.
and then TY's like, okay, but
He
watch
caught a
this.
tank, he disabled another tank, and he also locked onto the Raven quickly, and TY's Raven didn't cast any spells before it died.
Okay.
And then TY just cleaned up his army.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, this is what I was wondering. I mean, Bomber still looks very good, but TY is better with it.
Bomber is very good, but TY is better.
TY is gooder.
That is, no, it's true, and
That's my in-depth analysis here.
yeah, no, it's,
Is he going to...
that is the most damaged.
Leading
Couple
medevac.
medevacs,
I know,
yeah.
when you see the medevac in the front with 10%
He's gotta be
HP.
careful if there's any birds on this map. He might fly into the rotors and he's
Yeah.
gonna blow up.
TY is going to push out. He's itching for a fight. TY now exceeding supply by about 15 here. And let's remember that a lot of the tanks were killed in the push there from Bomber, so he'll have less static defense, which might allow TY to just break through.
TI poking a little bit there.
TVT in StarCraft 2 now is so crazy as far as the unit movement goes. Like, the damage, the burst damage for in TVT is so high with Siege Tank and Stim Marine that, like, you really have to make so many perfect decisions in a row.
That is certainly right. I mean, you just can get so much damage done so quickly. Stimmed Marines DPS is just absurd.
All right, this is an annoying position here for Bomber. I don't think it's game losing, but TY is going to take the damage he can get from this. It's kind of cool to see he didn't just try to push at the third at all. He instead tried to wedge himself in that. You know, on this map, there's an awkwardly large berth behind your minerals, where you
Yeah.
can slot Marines and tanks or
Yeah.
whatever back there. So
And he forced a cancel in the command center. He killed some turrets,
Yeah.
a depot, a few SCVs and stuff. Made him lose some mining. That was a very good move from TY.
Hold up. This is going to be bad for Bomber here if he doesn't pull away immediately. Now these tanks sieging up, they should get some shots. I guess not as much as I thought they would get.
These Marines are fast.
Yeah, when they're on those stim drugs, man, they can move. He's going to try to loop up here, maybe, to the top.
Yeah, I think this is where TY, like, it gets very hard to play against him in this type of situation. He has more supply right now, and he's just going to kind of be roaming around the map consistently.
Well, he's
here.
also out-expanded him, too. You know, this is not a game where you can point to one amazing thing TY did. He basically did every little thing better than...
It feels like he's just
Bomber.
playing better.
Whoa, did your volume just spike up in your headset?
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully that gets fixed. I'm a lot louder for some reason now. Anyways, we're going to have a push up here at 12.
Yeah, and just look at how TY is moving here, right? They both have the multiple sensor towers up at this point, but TY joining up his army, kind of roaming around a bit. I like, if you look at the mini-maps, he just has like more blue spread out on the edge of some of these as well. Like, look down at that, possible 5th base location here at Nightshade. Okay, here we go. A couple of oh my god, look at this stimming in.
Yeah.
The tanks are not siege, not in position. These high ground tanks of TY doing a great job right there.
Okay, we have another attack
Vikings.
coming in again.
Yeah. Those Liberators didn't do as much as I thought they would, but he stims over here on top of the high ground.
And now he's going to be able to take out a lot of these tanks here. This is going to separate the 2nd and the 3rd base here. And, I don't know that there's going to be an easy way here for Bomber to try to prevent this. The Marines are actually too small in number, and now TY getting behind the minerals, doing even more damage, taking out the turret, allowing more access there later on. 2 more CCs about to finish down here at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, TY looking so strong right now. He's got that additional armor upgrade also, which is pretty helpful in these Marine interactions. But you can see he's just kind of like tightening the noose right now, making it very tough on Bomber.
Again, Bomber right now needs to hang on. He's not dead, of course, but TY is really tightening the noose here. Another siege up here. Is this a moment where Bomber can come in? It looks like the Marine count is just too sparse.
Stims forward there, takes out quite a few siege tanks. TY's push, it just doesn't look like it's going to be denied. He's picking out medevacs at this point as well. Just continually gaining value. And let's not forget, he does have more bases. Now he's going to have 2 more bases than his opponent.
At this point in time, if Bomber doesn't defend the 4th, and there's also a chance we have the 2nd even dropped in here, I think that he might just have to tap out. We're going to have the 3 tanks defending picked off, and this is going to allow the siege tanks here of TY to just continue to pelt the planetary, so he doesn't even have to really take that in a diving attack, so to speak. And I think we are seeing the twilight of this game.
For sure. Bomber clearing out a single siege tank over here, but he's not even really able to hold on to this base. TY going in for the kill.
Yeah, and Bomber, if he doesn't repair that, that will be taken out as well. Again, TY just flexing here in this TVT. In a matchup where you start out with the same in every way and they both tech the same direction, you can see TY just, I don't know, 20% better at everything that he does and comes out ahead of Bomber. But Bomber's still looking very strong.
Well, Bomber, he's going across the map looking for a counterattack. I can't imagine, he'd have to not just kill that base, but at least 1 more to really bring himself back in this.
Okay, Bomber going to push in here. I think he's just going to get surrounded, though. Wow, disables on all these tanks. GG, beautifully done.
Yeah.
Okay, TY wins. Now, that's what we expected, but I'll tell you what, I think the bigger takeaway is that Bomber looks very strong.
Yeah, Bomber looked good. Just TY quite a bit better. And that's generally the case. TY makes almost every Terran on Earth look bad by comparison.
Yeah, he's so good.
Especially his TVT.
Also showing that, even while he's still commentating GSL, he's able to stay completely on top of his game.
Yeah. definitely looking favored to get out of this group very quickly. We'll see who joins him in that winner's match, though, because coming up next, Armani versus Deer.
Yeah, Bomber. I want to see more Bomber games.
You're going to see more Bomber
We only
games,
really
no
got
worries.
to see one true Bomber game because that rush. So, anyways, we don't have any more time. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, the second best of 3 in Group E of the GSL Code S.
I can see you from the sky.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
짜릿한 맛칠성 사이다. 정성이 맛칠성 사이다. 70년의 사이다. 칠성 사이다. 우리 입맛엔 칠성 사이다가 좋아요.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
당신 뭐 핫식스 더킹 아세요?
핫식스 뭐요?
핫식스 더킹.
이거 정말로 맛있는데
제가 오늘 핫식스 더킹 먹었기면 당신은 저한테 빨릴 거예요. 아세요?
이런 악마의 음료
네.
이걸 빠시다니.
그리고 핫식스 더킹 그 빨간 제품 있거든요. 열대 과일 맛이 나요. 열대 과일
그거까지
맛.
자신 있으세요?
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터. 울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
마법의 음료 하식스를 마시게 되면은 엔돌핀이 확 돌면서 머리에 수분이 공급되고 그리고 뇌가 바로바로 한 모금만 마셔도 뭔가 알 거야. 100ml 더 늘어나고 마시게 되면 진짜 마법의 음료. 신제품 빨강색. 어?
반칙 아닙니까? 그것은 전설의 음료 하식스.
올 때 하식스 많이 마시자. 진짜 괜찮지?
맛있다 이거.
파랑색, 빨강색 맛 여러분들 많이들 진짜 마셔주시고 진짜로 거짓말 안 치고 맛있습니다.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
너무 많이 마셨다.
청정제주 숙취비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
지금 코로나 바이러스 때문에 굉장히 어수선하잖아요.
첫 번째로는 마스크를 무조건 착용하는 게 좋다고 생각하고요.
확실히 안 나가니까 그런 게 예방이 되는 것 같아요.
공공장소를 되도록이면 피해 주시고
친구들이랑 같이 그 온라인 게임을 이제 같이 하면은 시간도 빨리 가고.
전 집에서 롤 조심해야지 다음번에 좋게 만날 수 있기 때문에
괜찮아질 때까지 GSL이랑 사투 리그 계속 사랑해 주시기 바랍니다.
라운드 오브 24 TY 전태양 바머 최지성 아르마니 박진현 디어 백동준 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're going to go on to our second best of three. We just saw TY smash Bomber, although Bomber does appear to be in very good shape. And I'm curious to see how he's going to perform in the losers match. But now is our ZVP Armani versus Deer.
Yeah, I think that this has potential to be a very, very good match. Deer is always highly respected by everyone, whereas Armani is kind of, I wouldn't call him like highly respected, but everyone knows he's pretty good, and he's been getting better. I feel like he's Ragnarok -2.
Okay.
Right?
He's Ragnarok without all the armor and weapon upgrades.
Something like that. It's like he's up and coming like Ragnarok. He's getting stronger in all ways like Ragnarok. But he's not as good as Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ragnarok is the Ravager and he is the Roach.
He's Ragnarok with like Cheeto dust on him.
Okay. Now Deer, one of the only Royal Roaders in GSL history. In other words, he was one of the only players to ever show up in his first GSL and then win the entire thing. But he's had some real ups and downs in his StarCraft 2 career. He's had periods where he's been literally unstoppable and, of course, won the entire tournament. And then he's had periods where he just is not performing up to par with the other players, even in a GSL group.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard, especially with this long downtime that we had. I know we had Super Tournament, but we're getting back into the rhythm of things still here in Korea. It's hard to say really where Deer is at until we see him play that given day. Even in a tournament, sometimes he'll play amazingly in one round and then poorly in the next.
Yeah.
At times a very inconsistent player. So expect anything. Armani, still, I would say one of the rookies here of the GSL by comparison to these other players. Let's see how game one goes on Everdream.
전투 준비 완료. 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어와 넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가 이번 전투를 지원한다고. 아프리카 프릭스 아르마니 박진혁. 카이지 게임 디어 백동준.
You said Armani, one of the more rookie players in GSL.
By comparison.
Well, the thing is, He is the most rookie player in GSL. He's actually, out of all the players in the tournament, he's been in the least GSLs.
Sure.
This is his 5th or 6th GSL overall, which that's actually still kind of a big number when you think about it.
It's a lot of GSL still, but
the amount of players in GSL that have been double-digit GSLs is huge.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when the show has been on for 10 years. But this is also why, you know, the best esports, they have history. I know there's always new
Wait. What about games that are new? Those are the best esports, aren't they?
Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. It's the,
okay,
it's
yeah,
the games
because
that have been out for 5 months, and then we start talking about players being legends.
Yeah, well,
and everybody doesn't care about the game a year and a half later. And everybody says the game's dead, and then they go on to the next new thing.
Well, first off, if my favorite professional gamer, Ninja, is not streaming a game, it is dead. Second off, I visit a website called...
like you say that, but he's on Mixer now, so...
Twitter.com. And on Twitter.com, from what I understand, only a few new games are good. And then also when people from other games mention StarCraft, they get 1,000 favorites because we're like, wow, look at you. You're just, wow, you mentioned it.
These are the people that...
I just want to kick people into a volcano all the time.
Yes, me too.
Oh, by the way, shout out to StarCraft. I'm like, you haven't watched any StarCraft. Shut up. You don't watch any of it.
Now, no, but if you let's take a moment here and point out like all the esports that are old that are still moving through here: StarCraft 1 and 2, Counter-Strike in its various iterations, Street Fighter, Super Smash Brothers Melee. These are all the esports that have the real long history. And other games are, you know, I mean, we'll see what games stand the test of time, right? But I mean, when a game's been around for a decade, you actually have a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
And it's even the newer games that come out, and I'm not anti-new game. Eventually there's going to be another amazing game that comes out that will then last 10 years, okay? But it is worth pointing out that even the newer games have to try to reach back into the players that were playing some other previous esport to even get any history.
Yeah.
Well, this guy came from this game where he was dominant there for 7 months.
That can be very exciting.
Sure.
It's a little bit less exciting if you actually know the game that they came from and the game that they're going to.
Yeah. Well,
because then you can just be like, okay, everyone's talking like this is going to be a big deal. It's not.
Yeah, well, a lot of times...
Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft. Wow, this is going to be good. It's like, no, guys, the StarCraft players will be better no matter what.
The StarCraft 1 players will definitely catch on to StarCraft 2 a little bit more quickly.
Oh, my God.
And if we have a game with heroes, I'll tell you something. Call it a crazy hunch. I think the Warcraft 3 players will probably have a special in. Oh, no, here's Artos' bias coming. He's like,
no, it's
actually
not.
tasteless.
When your scene only has 16 pro gamers tasteless, it's pretty hard to say you have a bigger depth than something like StarCraft. But those Lings just got in. That was like a very sloppy placement. Got a full scout off. Yeah. So definitely a bit of a mistake there. We have Glaives into DT. This is obviously a popular build at the moment.
Yeah.
But Armani's going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Now let's see how Armani actually handles the first few attacks here. The the Adepts are warping him, and they're going to be moving forward now. This should be manageable unless Zerg was too greedy, but we have Roaches and Lings coming out. Now we also want to watch for where the next shade goes, because occasionally, okay, so he cannot do this. He has to back off. Lings and Roaches were there ready to meet him.
Yeah, I don't really expect him to fully commit anywhere. Like, I think you're just going to pressure here for the most part, unless you randomly get a really good shade where they don't chase it, which is, like, never going to happen. And by keeping this pressure on, it might allow your DTs to get some damage done, right? Because they're focusing so heavily on this.
Okay, again, these cannot shade forward anymore. Now, one thing about Adepts is that they don't really scale well in the late game. It's fine to get them early, but a lot of times you want them to start to pay for themselves. But let's see if the DT's coming out. This DT rush is also very common at this point in time. And this is going to be a huge shutdown. The fact that he's going to get the surround, I don't know how many he'll kill before the War Prism could save it. So 2 get away. But usually when you do that DT rush, the objective, if it doesn't immediately kill a hatchery, is to turn them into Archons. So he only has 1 Archon available.
Yeah.
But in a twist here, the Adepts do come through here. And they do get some drone kills, not an insane amount, but it's definitely something. And it doesn't seem like Armani's ready for the next Shade too. And this is where things can start to add up, and the Adepts really can start to become incredibly effective. Let's see if there's anything to defend up here at 9 o'clock.
Well, it seemed like Armani's defense was really, really strong until after those DTs and the Adepts got in. And now suddenly we do have that damage starting to add up. Some Queens going down, a bunch of drones are starting to fall as well.
Looks like he should be able to take out all the rest of these Adepts here. There is a Warp Prism with some DTs coming over here.
He flew all the way home with that.
Oh, did he? No, this is over in the bottom, right?
No, I know, but like that Prism came from the top right again or something. Like I'm confused. The Prism should have been... Or wait, no, I mean, he rallied it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's okay, Arctos. The DT is now going to come in here into the main and take out some drones. And again, we already have 15 drone kills. It seems like Deer, initially Armani had a strong start, and then things started to add up, the pressure especially. And now these DTs have paid for themselves in dividends by coming in here and killing off workers and delaying everything. The Archon harass is not going to happen, at least not with the DTs that we saw initially. I don't know if he's going to warp in more now. I'm not sure where you want to take a game. Normally, it's the Adepts that are all killed off, and then the Archons start to do something. But this time around, the DTs got the worker kills instead of the Archons.
Well, the DTs have done fantastically.
Oh
the
my
Adepts
God,
definitely did their part too.
Okay, he's going to turn around with the Overseer. Good save there.
Yeah, this push, I'm a little bit afraid here for Armani. His drone count is very, very low. His supply count of army is terrible considering it's roaches. Oh yeah, 61 to 51 and your army is roaches?
Yeah.
It's not so good, man.
No. And with 4 Immortals coming out, this timing attack could be game-ending. It absolutely could be. I love the 1 DT coming in the group. I almost wonder if it'd be better to have the DT. I guess you can't really drop it into the main and then actually expect to try to pressure this too. You need the Warp Prism there to harass. Now there's a lot of Ravagers being made here, but I think this hatchery can actually maybe be picked off before this is even going to be salvageable. Yeah, he picks it off at the last second. The DT's going to run into the main. Deer with just beautiful play here, by the way. I mean,
he's putting out a high-quality game right now. A lot of Biles coming down. They actually do hit, but a DT goes to the main base, so things might go very south for Armani right there.
With Armani holding the initial Adept attack, everything from there on out has just been Deer showing why he has been one of the best Pronosses that we've ever had. I mean, this is such good play. The DT's now going to start killing drones, and we're going to see GG in a few seconds, I think, here.
Really superb play from Deer. You're definitely right about that. Like, just beautifully done. His micro has been on point. His multitasking has been quite good. And I mean, look at this. It's unstoppable damage.
This is
Armani has to GG.
This is a pretty demoralizing game here for Armani. Deer definitely going to be confident that he can probably 2-0 him here. And again, this shows the difference in ability as far as stage matches go. I think Armani is cognizant of those types of threats coming, but execution-wise, he's not able to keep up. I mean, he had the initial setup, right? But it's when the action really starts happening, it's when the game really begins to unravel, that an expert player can stabilize and start to defend that. But instead, the Adept started to outpace the position of the Roach Ravager, and at the same time, Deer was able to predict where the Overseers would not be, gets in there, and from there on out, I mean, that timing attack, especially with such inferior supply from the Zerg, really easy to come in there with a neck-breaking push.
Well, as soon as you get away from them with one set of shades, things can snowball, and that's what happened to Armani. But before that, Armani was defending very, very well. So if he can just pull that together a little bit better, I mean, it was not the most complicated move that Deer was doing. So I think it was just an oversight from Armani, just a simple mistake. So I'm still not counting him out. Even though Deer looked way superior, so much of it has to do with that one time he didn't chase down the shades.
Yeah, it's a real snowballing effect, right?
Yeah,
if he could go back and he could resume from replay and just stop that there.
Oh yeah,
we have a
game looks different.
Game. Yeah,
definitely looks different. Like Deer might still win, of course, because he's generally a better player.
Or we might still just be in that game at the bare minimum.
We would definitely still be in the game.
Nightshade, game number 2, Armani versus Deer starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진영. 카이지 게임, 디어, 백동준.
Excited to see what Deer has prepped here. Of course, you still have to kind of play on the aggressive side as Protoss in this matchup at the moment.
Yeah, this is a matchup where a lot of current theory basically states that the Zerg, if given enough freedom, can become too much to handle for the Protoss. And so the game is a lot of times centered around, at least in this current meta of StarCraft, it's centered around trying to come in and take the Zerg out before the Zerg can get too strong. But it requires a lot of different types of attacks coming in here. We've seen in the past players play passively. I mean, this would be like Stats or when he was playing StarCraft 2 before he switched back Raid, right? The macro reactionary Protoss play. But nowadays it seems like if the Zerg is going to lose, it's via some type of piercing timing or a series of timings.
Yeah.
That come in and basically take the Zerg at the knees.
Yeah, you have to be a lot better than the Zerg player, I think, to win like just a regular kind of passive reactive game.
I think it's a lot better.
Yeah, or they have to basically be doing it all into you, because if they go regularly into the late game,
sure,
it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's worth pointing out. Yeah, I mean, if Zerg does some type of all-in, then you just have to hold it, and then there's a lot of different ways to play the game from there. But assuming the Zerg is actually, I think, playing in the most Zerg-esque way, which is to follow what you're doing and try to stay, 1 to 2 steps ahead of you, and fend off what you're going to do, you're probably as a Zerg player going to win, because if you both go into late game, it does seem like Zerg functionally is superior.
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much agrees with that.
And this is actually
except for Zerg players who think that Carrier is too strong.
It's also worth pointing out that there's actually been several matchups historically, even in StarCraft 1, that have operated this way. Where one race has to push the other in different times of the meta, where it's, this race has to close it before this race gets to there.
Well, someone has to be the beat down.
Someone has to be the aggressor, the other the defender. Yeah. Not always, but often.
That's how it goes. Actually, I don't think you saw this probably on StarCraft Reddit. Someone
I haven't been there in a while now.
Someone posted this thing where they went through a Ligulac, and basically in the last month, Protoss has had the worst
I do know about
performance
this.
ever.
I do know about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so what did you think about that, actually? Because we're kind of talking about how Protoss has to end it early with these sharp timing attacks.
I think there's a lot to talk about with that. I mean, I think it's always worth looking at numbers like that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're seeing the overall results. There's various factors you got to put in. For one, the meta, the way the game's being played. Another is, how do I say this? There's also, I think, historically there was a lot of memeing about Protoss in StarCraft 2, like OP, and this is the, you got Protoss, and I think culturally in StarCraft a lot of people were kind of referencing that, and look, I'm one of you guys, Protoss is so strong, when in reality, if you look at the way that Zerg can operate at times, it's very hard. Just from the tools that they have at their disposal to take on a top-tier play. I mean, there's a couple things to mention here. I mean, I think for me, when I look at it, and I'm not claiming imbalance here because I'm always open to metas changing and strategies being enhanced, but I think the fact that Zerg just have creep.
Yeah.
They have creep. I mean, that it gives you vision. We have the ability to speed up your units on that. You have overlords to top that off. Just real quick here, just to acknowledge what's happening. The oracles are going to come in here. This is designed to take out some drones to slow the Zerg down so that the Protoss can set up for an attack. And then I think you look at a lot of the late game units that Zerg have had, and the fact that you can have everything moving at once and cast spells the way that you can in StarCraft 2. I think that all lends itself to Zerg.
Well said.
What would you say?
Well, I mean, normally when the patches come out and I see Protoss nerfs, I'm just like, wait, when does Protoss win tournaments? I've never seen it. But
I think this is because everybody has become so used to memeing and referencing Protoss as being OP that then you kind of end up in a situation where it's like, well,
I think people get frustrated when it feels like your opponent rolled their face across the keyboard and beat you, which I think that's something that people identify with Protoss somewhat. Which is
well, I think
necessarily
since the very origins of the game, there was cannon rushes and gateways and right outside your base. But I think for anybody who's really up to date with the game now, you got to look at it and say, okay, but at the point in time where everybody actually does know how to play the game, what are we really doing here? But yeah, I think it's I think these things that we're talking about now are fairly self-evident. But
well, that being said, we had a couple Oracles hidden there. They didn't really get that much damage done, but they've flown back in a few times, so they've gotten a few drones. And now it's going to be a Nidus all in, it looks like, from Armani.
Yes, and I think this is a smart move. I think this might catch Deer off guard. This is a pretty cute location to put this, by the way. Is there an Overseer over here?
I do not believe that there is, so I think those DTs are going to ruin his day.
Well, this is a lot of damage, though. If you can get an Overseer here in time. Oh my god, that surround on the Immortal is actually so good.
Yeah, it is, but then there's 4 DTs in here, so I think this is going to be held relatively easily, right?
I believe you're correct here.
Because the amount of damage 4 DTs are putting out is pretty immense.
Look at the DTs are just going to chew their way through this, and as long as Protoss can keep the Nexus alive. Now, there's an Overseer coming here, but I mean, we're already seeing him. He can actually dive on the Nidus if he wants.
He can kill whatever he wants with this stuff. The Overseer is just about to hatch, but there's not that many units left over. I feel like one more warping round and you've basically held this.
Yeah.
Hell, the DTs are just going to go up and fight, I guess.
It just turns him into Archons. It's like, all right, whatever. Cover me.
Yeah, so that goes pretty well for Deer, I would say. Oh, is he going to lose those? Yeah.
So, now the Zerg's in hot water. This is not set up easily for a 4th base. I mean, of course, if you're going to do a Nidus move like that, you're actually intending to kill their 3rd or maybe end the game, right? Either way, you're doing a move like that because you're intending to come out on top. But now Protoss is on 3 bases. The tech that can dismantle the Zerg is inbound and continuing to come out. We had Immortals coming out, another Warp Prism being made, Archons as well. Where Zerg is making Ling Ravager. I'm not sure what Armani is supposed to do from here. I feel like we'd be remiss to say the Zerg should on paper be losing this game if everybody plays perfectly, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Deer is just like so far ahead in both army and workers, so this attack should kill Armani. It's not like he has Banelings or something to stop these Zealots.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to come across the map now. And we have something happen in the middle of the map. I'm not sure what it is, but some counterattack happened there.
I think it's just some Lings running around trying to catch units.
Snipe something.
Yeah.
Okay, the Archons are actually still pretty far out from this push, but when they manage to merge up with the rest of these units, I think we're going to see this next attack come in here. He's going to try to move that Warp Prism into the way. Good dodge.
Yeah, brings his Archons with him up the hill. Here we go. The Zealots being spread out. A lot of Roaches and a few Ravagers in here. I cannot imagine Armani holding on.
GG. Deer crushing Armani there. Hopefully that's not indicative of how Armani's going to look in the rest of these groups. A smile on Deer's face, but here's the good news. The losers match is going to be really interesting. Armani versus Bomber should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wonder if Bomber can put up a fight against Armani, because Armani's like much more modern, even though they both, like for instance, have done
tell you what, man.
their military duty. Armani's been out longer and looks a bit better, I think.
I'll tell you what, man. Bomber looked a lot better than Armani.
Do you think so?
Yes, I do, Artosi. Yes,
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Those are your feelings. You can have that.
Yeah.
You can take that.
Look, Armani did an all-in and died to DTs.
You think that Bomber in his game 2 against TY, because game 1, it's like, yeah, the Reaper Rush kills him. Okay. Game 2, I think Bomber looked like a better player than Armani did in the Deer games.
No.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our third best of 3. Don't go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
짜릿하니 마칠송 사이다. 정다운이 마칠송 사이다.
70년의 사이다. 칠성사이다. 우리 입맛엔 칠성사이다가 좋아요.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
당신 뭐 핫식스 더킹 아세요?
핫식스 뭐요?
핫식스 더킹.
이거 정말로 맛있는데
제가 오늘 핫식스 더킹 먹었기면 당신은 저한테 빨릴 거예요. 아세요?
이런 악마의 음료 이걸 빠시다니.
그리고 핫식스 더킹 그 빨간 제품 있거든요. 열대 과일 맛이 나요. 열대 과일 맛.
자신 있으세요?
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
견제를 받지 않았을 때에 비해서는 이제 좀 더 적을 수 있고요. 물론 이 병력 자체가 좀 세기는 하죠. 앞마당 열어줬어요.
와! 두드리니까 열렸어요.
이게 두드려라 열릴 것이다. 우영 선수는 여기서 이제 운영을 해도 괜찮다. 근데 이거 전차도 여기 전차 끊었으면 안에서 본진. 그래 펑커 피어서 해병 들어갈 수 있나요? 해병 들어갈 수 있나요? 하나? 거의 박민호 선수는 경기를 즐기는 것과 거의 비쌀 정도로 여왕을 엄청나게 준비했습니다.
밀어버리네요. 여기 전차 고기까지 끊어버렸습니다. 시대! 오늘 땅굴 두번으로 경기 마무리 짓고 가장 먼저 16강에 올라간 주인공 박명우 선수예요.
공상 모드 놓쳤어요.
터져요.
자, 대신에 맹동총이 작곡 잘하죠. 이거 본진 쪽에서 이신영이 2등 못 거두면 박명우가 좋아집니다.
그렇죠.
흔들어 놔야 돼요.
자, 이번 대신 몰아내야 됩니다.
네, 근데 이 정도면 잘 막았죠. 주요 건물들 잃지 않았고요. 일본에도 뭐 4개 뭐 별거 아닙니다. 링링을 상대 트리플 쪽으로 돌려줬어도 되는데. 와, 공성 모드 안 되는데.
네, 선착 쪽으로 좀 들어와서 이병장. 와! 선수적 움직임 보세요. 기가 막혔습니다 방금.
근데 그 좋았던 상황인데도 불구하고 박명우를 여기까지 몰아붙이는 이신영의 생산력도 그리고 운영도 너무 대단합니다.
네. 와, 이거는 마지막까지 이겨낸 모습. 이건 의료선도 없어요.
예, 마지막 홀이죠.
지대! 박명우 선수 갚아주면서 1대1 스코어를 만들었습니다.
추가 병력 계속 나오고 있어요.
추가로 위에서 나오고 있습니다. 병력 더 나오고 있거든요.
네, 이 여차하면 이 부하장을 내줘도 됩니다. 본진까지만 밀지 않으면 되는 거예요.
이게 추가 병력 뒷심이 없거든요, 테란이.
이신영의 극한의 컨트롤이 나오려면 불곰이 베이스여야 되는데
많아요.
해병 베이스라서 맹독충에 쓸리겠는데요.
그리고 슬리브 병력 다 잡아주면 8강으로 갈 수 있죠.
자원이 없습니다.
자원이 없고요. 할 수 있는 게 없습니다. 뒷심이 없어요.
이걸 어떻게든 난전으로 하는
저기 박명우 선수 이신영 선수를 잡아내면서 역전승으로 이겨내면서 가장 먼저 8강에 진출합니다.
김준호는 몰라요.
모르면
김준호는 몰라요.
맹독비.
일단 상대까지는 좋았는데
네.
하수기의 개체수가 가장 중요한 상황이거든요.
그렇죠.
이거 역장으로 히드라를 잘라먹지 못하면 이 공격 막힙니다. 그렇죠. 히드라 개체수 유지되고 있고 맹독충 들어가요.
빵!
자, 이제 불멸자 보호막 상당히 벗겨졌거든요. 그리고 가시촉수도 그대로 유지가 되고 있고 병력 나오면서 일벌레 동원하는 거 여전히 박영우 선수 다 좋습니다. 테란 건 저그 연합도 다 무너졌잖아요.
압도적으로 가나요?
마지막 저그 박명우가
최후의 저그가
한 번 더 진화.
이런 댄스.
모든 저그의 한을 이번 경기로.
그렇죠.
와.
프로토스의 종말을 예고하는 댄스.
네, 모든 저그에게 말하는 거죠. 나만 믿고 따라와.
그렇죠. 프로토스 내가 초토해줄게. 지제. 최후의 저그 박명우 선수가 완벽한 경기력으로 공격적인 김규현 선수 끌어내고 4강에 올라갑니다.
슬슬 기회라는 게 넘어오고 있어요. 물론 흔들리긴 했지만 이병혁이 대신에 살아 돌아간다는 전제 조건이 있어야 됩니다. 이병혁
수업 깨지면 안 돼요.
이병혁이 죽으면 안 돼요. 이건
올라가요?
시지옥을 대처할 만한 프로토스의
올라가잖아요.
언덕이를 빼앗기게 되면 이거 난리 납니다. 트리플에다가 언덕이 저 언덕 아래에 있는 탐사정까지 올릴 수 있어요.
그렇죠.
신의 한 수가 됐습니다.
와, 들어와서 여기 치면
이번 다시 한번 경기를 내줄 때처럼 선수가 100차이랑 시작했고
2012년 경기부터 항상 꿈꿔오던 GSL 결승전 대결 드디어 박명우 선수가 갑니다. GSL 공화유센 최초의 우승자의 도장장을 내민 다크 박영우.
조금씩 깨지고 있기 때문에 박영우 입장에서는 계속 몰아붙여야 됩니다.
네.
적어도 뭐 체제가 확 바뀌면 아니지만 지금 문제는 불멸자예요.
네.
불멸자가 어떻게든 너에게 5기가 돼야 되는데
자국 밖에 끊어내고 세게 박습니까?
불멸자 별로 없으니까 그냥 가겠다는 거죠.
깨놓고 자 여기서 불멸자 지금 하나 있거든요.
이러면 불멸자라고 해도 못 버팁니다.
불멸자 잡았어요.
제재 드랍을 하면서 정면 쪽에 몰아붙이려면 외곽 쪽의 시야를 프로토스가 확인을 못해요. 그래서 땅굴이 돌리는 거 허용할 수밖에 없는 건데 자 그래서 일단 여왕이 넘어왔을 때 이때가 가장 큰 위기가 되는 거죠.
그렇죠. 지금 여기서 뚫고 들어가고 있어요. 잡으려고 들어가고 있죠. 병력 많아요. 자 군단이 왔습니다.
앞마당 병력 빨리 빼고 와줘죠.
자 뚫어내면서 암흑의 시대 만듭니까? 자 이번 시즌 세계 최초의 우승 도대체 내밀고 있는 상황인데 조정으로 막아야 돼요.
일꾼이 잡혀도 병력이 못해야 됩니다. 적어도 일꾼 별로 없어요.
가난해요.
불멸자.
잡히면 자 여기까지 깨버리면 병력이 없습니다. 아니 자원 제재 공회유산 최초의 우승자가 나왔습니다. 그의 이름은 다크 박영우.
저거 역시 다 쓰러져가는 분위기에서 마지막에 살아남은 박명호 선수인데 오히려 살아남은 게 박명호 선수다 보니 이 어려운 시기를 견낼 수 있었습니다.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
마법의 음료 하식스를 마시게 되면은 엔돌핀이 확 돌면서 머리에 수분이 공급되고 그리고 뇌가 바로바로 한 모금만 마셔도 뭔가 알 거야. 100ml 더 늘어나고 마시게 되면 진짜 마법의 음료. 신제품 빨강색.
반칙 그것은 전설의 음료 하식스.
올 때 하식스 많이 마시자. 진짜 괜찮지?
맛있다 이거.
파랑색, 빨강색 맛 여러분들 많이들 진짜 마셔주시고 진짜로 거짓말 안 치고 맛있습니다.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
너무 많이 마셨다.
청정제주 숙취 비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
라운드 오브 24 TY 전태양 바머 최지성 아르마니 박진현 디어 백동준. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드 S Showdown.
Welcome back, guys. It's time for best of 3, number 3. This is the winner's match to decide who will go on to the round of 16.
Yeah, it should be TY favored.
I think
he is one of the most consistent players that we've ever had, one of the best tears in the whole wide world. Deer, I mean, he's a very strong Protoss, and again, he's like the guy that I always think of that no matter what his results, every pro is like, oh, Deer's so good. And I'm like, why'd he die to 1 unit? Oh, he's so good right now. You just don't know he's so good. And it's like, okay, but sometimes he looks so good, and then other times he does not.
He's very inconsistent. I mean, so inconsistent that he can win an entire GSL his first time, and then occasionally just bomb out.
Like
and
first
so
round,
I'm always reluctant to like even say what's going to happen until we're at least sorted deep into the tournament, because he's even had periods where he's been absolutely terrifying in one tournament, and then the next season he bombs out in like round of 32 when it was round of 32, and it was not even close.
It was not even close. He lost to literally 1 unit.
He basically put on his triangle hat, loaded his musket, and then shot himself in the stomach in some of these games where it's like, okay, that was weird.
But he looks great tonight. He looked very strong against Armand.
No, he looks good today, and that's why I'm very interested to see how he's going to do against TY. These are two GSL veterans duking it out. TY versus Deer on Eternal Empire. Game 1 starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어와 넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가 이번 전투를 지원한다고. T1 전태양. 타이지 게임 디어 백동주.
All right, so nothing looks weird at the moment. It's pretty standard, both sides. We'll wait and see what they want to go for tech-wise.
Yeah, so let's see what Deer's going to do here. I feel like the first two best of threes we had were kind of mismatches, you know? Oh, they're 9 and 9? Wow, I didn't know that. Anyways, I thought the first two best of threes we had, I enjoyed them, but it was clearly one player better than the other. So
yes, it really, really was.
And this might be another match like that too. If I had to predict, I think that TY might just crush through against Deer. This might be one of those groups where everybody is just a little bit...
That everyone shows exactly their rank in the group.
Yeah, they're just gapped out enough that...
Could be. Could be. Blocking the command center there a little bit. Some annoyance from Deer. TY sending his SCV down.
Command center upgrade.
Check what's going on.
Let's see what kind of game both these guys want to do. I might be wrong. It seems like there's been a slight meta shift. It used to be that you would both be fairly even on bases. It seems like Protoss is able to expand a little bit more quickly in at least some of the games, although Protoss isn't required to.
Yeah.
In fact, with this pylon thrown down here, maybe we're going to have something quite different.
Well, generally, we see just a very quick third base from Protoss, and Terran kind of get other stuff with a later third.
Yeah.
And they peak up in army supply and then hopefully get some damage done. That's very oftentimes what it looks like. Wow, this scout from TY though.
And he's right when he makes it. I was about to say, if he cancels it. I was going to say it's almost better if it starts and then he kills him, the probe.
Yeah.
But he saw that immediately.
And he actually didn't go back to check. It got canceled. So he might prepare for something that will never come.
This is actually going to be huge if that's the case, because normally when you scout it, then you have the intel that you needed, right? But not if he turns right now. There's an immediate Twilight Council here.
Yeah.
He still thinks, well, we don't know what he thinks, but he still, as far as vision goes, sees that there's something there.
Well, I think if you see it and you don't see it canceled, you must prepare for it, because that's like the deadliest thing that can occur is an Oracle blind and you don't have the defense. Look at that micro from TY.
Yeah, TY just on top of his control. Now, can he push over to the pylon now? He may still be afraid of more threats on the map here.
Yeah, if a second Stalker comes out, he loses so much.
Right. There's a robo being made. This is all back at home for Protoss. There is still the availability of that, the ability to use that pylon that's now out on the map.
Yeah, as the Viking comes out, I think that he's going to finally figure out that there's no Oracle, because he should be expecting it. He already has a Widow Mine in his natural mineral line. So once he sees that that's canceled, he's going to figure out what is Deer up to now, and that's just very standard from Deer. I like how he's canceled something that was meant to be a little bit more aggressive into a macro build.
Okay, so confirmation. I guess the Oracle would have already been there, but still, just seeing that that's gone and seeing that there's nothing else but there is certainly helpful.
Well, now we have a Viking that, what is that Viking going to do? You're going to try to harass with it? You're just going to add it to your ground army? I'm not so sure.
I guess you can use it as a deterrent to try to keep the War Prism out. If we do get into a game where the Protoss is going to try to fly in there. I don't know what other use it has. I don't think you can really harass with it, but...
A couple beat-up Marines going to go down here and eliminate that pylon. The third command center going up. So, TY, a little bit fresher than what we've been seeing lately.
Yeah.
You know, we've been seeing so much like 3 barracks play, all the upgrades going into the third command with some pressure going on. Instead here, he's gone for a quicker third command, which means, of course, his pressure won't come out quite as quickly as some Terrans do.
Right.
But honestly, are you expecting to do damage here? You know, especially on this map where it's either you're walking up a ramp towards the natural or you're going in the obvious way where Protoss should already be ready.
Yeah. Well, Cloak comes down now. This is going to be a slower game for starters here, but I want to see how Deer does. and when we get to like macro play here against TY. TY, we already saw this in the Bomber game, albeit a different matchup. Still, the same ideas apply, is that TY's movement, his ability to understand where his opponent should be, and oftentimes is on the map, and setting up to stop that is one of the reasons why he's so strong. He's really able to box the other player around the map and usually come in there with a push that's a pretty quick closer. He's also excellent at just denying drops and other harass. He usually is able to shut that down almost immediately.
Kind of excited right now. You know, Deer is playing a very solid game. TY, he's getting his macro flowing, which I think is really important. A second factory.
Third factory, even.
A third factory.
Yeah.
Yes!
This is cool.
TY going mech.
Now, I didn't expect this at all. I thought once we had the third CC for sure, he was going to go into bio, but... and
he's hiding a base in the bottom right. TY,
okay,
you
so
dog.
This is just so out there.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God, we're gonna get Banshee speed. I love it. I just love this man.
Now let's see if this is scouted. Here comes a hallucinated Phoenix. Wait, was it killed?
Well, no, it scouted it for sure.
Okay. No.
Oh wait,
Widowmine shot
mine got it.
Yeah,
wait,
I was
are
confused.
you serious?
There's a Widowmine underneath the SCB line.
Oh
so,
my God, that was for the Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's too crazy.
Also, he's going to send another one out here. Now, again, if you don't know they're meching, you're going to assume they're going bio, and you're going to be set up for the completely wrong unit composition.
Which is, it's pretty bad. Okay, he's flying through now.
He's going to get hit with the same one? Oh, no, it's just out of range.
Okay, he sees its mech just now.
We both turn around in our chairs.
Yeah, well, it's important to see if they're like stressed by it or not.
Yeah.
Mech is, you know, generally considered weaker than bio in the matchup, but a lot of it comes down to exactly what is the mech player going to do. Have you practiced against that?
Also, there's not one way of meching, you know?
Oh my God.
Now,
no,
what surprises me even more than the mech is mech combined with a hidden fourth base in the bottom right. Now, it's not crazy to think Protoss will eventually try to expand to that bottom right location, or at least be moving through there. So I'm curious to see. I guess you could set up the fourth over there, safer than if you expand on your side of the map, because you're going to be looking for that.
Yeah.
And then maybe even if it's spotted, you just flee with your SCVs and go to just the location 2 spots up from this, expansion-wise, and take that instead.
Well, that's the last spot you would scout, realistically. That is the LZ Gamer base that we always joke about, where it's like, yeah, this is the location you don't expect, because when you find it, it's dead. Right. And it's like kind of too close to your opponent and too easy to kill, but at the same time, that's why you never scout it. It's like so far out there. That's a very late game expansion, and on these positions, this would be one of Deer's expansions.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like, it's a type of play that's really only works against somebody who's really on top of their stuff. It is efficient enough that there's things they're just not going to do because they discount that because of the skill of the players. By the way, Banshees with the speed come through there. They are deflected with ease.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Oh,
now, what? There's only, 4 or 5 SCVs over there?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many exactly. Maybe he's been dropping his mules there. Yeah, that looks like he's just been sucking up Venom's mules.
One thing is, whenever you have a hidden base, you always want to drop all your mules at the hidden base because you'll soak up all the resources in a much quicker fashion. And that way, even if it's spotted, you got the most out of it. You can always drop mules back at home at the bases you're supposed to be able to keep if you're still able to stay alive in the game.
By the way, I want to point something out that I found very interesting. When Deer scouted this, he went into 3 Robo Colossus, which doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. I don't really like Colossus against mech. I don't think it's a super strong way to play.
Right.
Because especially if they're like massing siege tanks or something. Now, he is going up into Stargate Tech as well, so maybe Tempest or maybe Carriers, which I think both those are pretty good choices. But let's see what the Colossus do. He is adding in a bunch of Immortals, which of course can be very good against mech.
Sure. Yeah, the Immortals are definitely going to be the right answer to take on mech units. 2 Stargates down here at the bottom, finish up.
If they have like a lot of Hellions or Cyclones in front of the tanks, I feel like the, especially the Hellions, the Immortals don't do as well.
Right.
I always feel like Psystorm is really useful in these types of situations, but we'll see what Deer's composition ends up doing. I was very surprised to see the 3 Robo this early on. You know, that's like
cool.
Trying to support 3 Robos, you gotta have a big economy for that.
Yeah. Okay, so this infantry going to be cleaned up, making this even more of a mech game now that the few remaining infantry units are now gone. This is, I think, an overstep, though. I don't know if TY can really stand in that location for too much longer. Great Blink Forward, taking out all the Cyclones, with the exception of one that were in that little area over there. Can Deer push through here? This is an awkward area, but
I don't think so. I think
can't
that would be a like if you could attack through there and kill your opponent, then
you can
mech
do a lot
shouldn't
more than
exist.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
It's like if you can go through there, then you can go through anything, my friend.
Yeah. Suddenly it becomes some weird, protect the Nexus game or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, is there any way to stop Protoss
It's
units?
a UMS now. 3 carriers are coming, but I think Terran's going to be the first one to initiate here. And
well,
this
with
army
carriers, just is better.
There's few things that take longer than carriers to start to play a role
it's
in
very
the
true.
game. You got to get them out, and the interceptors have to be ready, and then you have to have a certain number of them.
Just their build time in general is very, very
Absolutely,
long.
yeah. Oh, my God. And this is another little blunder here by Deer, losing those units. Now, Deer has a small tactical grip up here, but I'm worried about this army from TY, this mech army, that should just flatten everything that's over here. We have a recall back home, only to retreat then from the army.
Well, this is, like, look at this army, right? How does Colossus help you against this exactly?
It really doesn't. And the siege tanks with superior range to the Colossus can continue to push through. Now, he's actually cut off any reinforcements. Oh my God, great disable there. Oh, easily takes that out.
Yeah, Cyclones lock on your carrier, and it's not going to be around for very long.
25 probes have already been killed. TY is still absolutely maxed out. We have a counterattack. No, I'm sorry. He's going to try to come around from behind and flank this army, although I'm not sure how well that's going to work. Siege tanks are not in siege mode, so some extra shots are pulled off here from the Protoss, but the damage is still coming. I think these Banshees are going to kill this Nexus before the Stalkers can really say much about it.
That's for sure.
Go back.
Oh, some mismicro there from TY, losing a couple extra Banshees because of it.
I think it's probably okay.
Yeah, no, he's looking pretty good right now, just continuing to take more of the map. His main army, like the composition Deer has, just doesn't really do much here.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess he's going to get these tanks, but is this too little too late?
I would say so.
Yeah, even though the supplies are even, TY will skyrocket back into maxing out momentarily here. The Protoss army, Immortals and Colossus, even with the Stalkers, none of these units are that fast. To walk across the map, even though Protoss, it's funny, they have a lot of mobility with like warping in and recalling. When it comes to actually just pushing, like to start the push, you have to walk that slow walk all the way across. You can reinforce it with a Warp Prism, but this should be enough time that Terran is already able to recover, to have what they need, and then to take on this attack. And behind this, economically, Protoss is in shambles.
Yeah, Deer's economy has really tanked from here. This is a tough situation for him. He's down 20 workers right now. I still don't think his unit composition is quite optimal. I do like that he has some charge lots in here. The Archons are obviously just there because he has an excess of gas, though.
Right, I mean, whenever you have all these minerals, just throw something down there and then let them soak up some of the damage. That's why you see Hellions a lot of time, just extra Hellions in a mech game.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have anything else to use the minerals on.
Yeah, and then, I mean, sometimes you see Archons in a situation like this. It's like, well, I mean, do these beat anything in there? I guess they're okay against the Hellbats, but that's about it.
Yeah. Protoss is going to push in. This is kind of the Hail Mary play. And I don't think this is going to work.
No, he's attacking into a planetary during this, so that makes it so difficult.
It's a planetary that does not look like it's going to die. In fact, he's trying to force his way through here, which...
I guess his army was pretty good overall. Like, he had a good amount of carriers in here. He has a lot of Immortals. He even still has a decent amount.
Well, now this is trapped in here.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways that TY can pull this army. It's going to be just one more carrier left over, and Zealots that'll easily be destroyed. And I mean, from here, I think TY, assuming that Deer stays in the game, I don't know that he will.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to out. He has
so.
He has a Stalker right now. Do you think the Stalker can stop 2 Banshees, 3 Hellions, 4 Cyclones, 7 tanks?
Well, let's not call it too soon. I mean, maybe it's got a shot with perfect control.
It could beat the Hellions, maybe. If it's near a shield battery, you know?
Yeah, this is pretty rough here. So I think TY, knowing that don't risk it. He doesn't know exactly what Protoss has. He has a pretty good idea, but when you have games that have been this back and forth, it's a little bit tricky to just for sure know. And so he's probably going to just max out and then push out across the map again, knowing that's when he'll have the most units compared to whatever Deer will have. Does he still have the Raven, by the way?
No, the Raven died.
Raven's gone. Okay. I was going to say, if the Raven was out, you could always disable this when the Archons come out and then just kill that.
I didn't see it die per se, but at the end of the battle, everything in the Protoss army was orange. It was like, I could tell it was one of those things where the sentry's about to die to Ling, so you throw a force field down that doesn't do
right in the middle, and it moves him aside. And
yeah. It's like, oh, I cast the spell because I want value out of the spellcaster before it dies.
Okay. Here comes what looks to be the closer here from TY. I can't imagine, even if TY controls poorly and Deer controls perfectly, that this is something that is winnable for Protoss. But let's see.
Yeah, there's so many Archons in there right now. A lot of Stalkers as well. It's like a pretty mobile army overall, but like you have, he's going to try to counterattack, I guess. It's just, this doesn't really beat anything.
Right.
You know?
Well, once it actually has to fight anything that's substantial here from Terran, it should lose.
It would beat Vikings. Like any amount of Vikings this would kill, but other than that, man, like he's like running from the army. Ugh. Very tough stuff. I love the Cyclones just walking away from them while they die.
Yeah, there's literally nothing they can do.
I cost 300 gas. Like, yeah, get out of here.
Sorry, buddy. Again, Deer did succeed in pulling TY away, but the supplies are so low. Yeah, GG. TY crushing Deer in game 1.
Yeah, so I think that Deer made some mistakes. And again, it's hard to play against mech, and I think that there is not actually a 100% agreed upon way to play PvT against mech because it's not, it hasn't been used enough and played out enough on both sides. But if I could mention, he went into 3 Robo Colossus. He made those Colossus. They didn't really do anything. Then he made like a good amount of Immortals, and there were no charge lots in his army.
Yeah.
And he went into carriers. So it's like, he doesn't, like the army composition doesn't even make sense. A switch into carriers is great, right? If you get a bunch of flying units, that's great against mech.
Sure.
Or if you make like 1,000,000 Immortals and charge lots, that's great. But when we have like 3 Colossus and like 8 Stalkers and 5 Immortals and 2 carriers, and it's like, what else do we have in there? You know, we have some sentries. That's not really a composition that does anything well.
Game 2 will be on Nightshade. Right now, TY with a 1-0 lead versus Deer. The winner goes on to the round of 16 of the GSL.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양. 카이지 게임 디어 백동준.
I do wonder if TY will mech again here, because that was a very specific weird mech build. It's set up so that you don't think mech right away, but you can have Protoss going down the wrong avenue. And then it also was paired with a hidden command center. And I've been wondering if we're going to have an influx of more hidden bases in StarCraft 2. The game has become so fine-tuned as far as strategies go that there are a lot of kind of ridiculous locations to expand to that could actually get you a pretty big lead. Now, I thought that one that TY did was pretty insane, but you know, let's take like Golden Wall, right? If you expanded their side of the map in that top spot, you know, it's like, well, they actually might not look there, you know?
It is true.
But cool to see TY do that. You know, Terran have a unique advantage in hidden bases. They always have had it, is that they can at least fly their building out. You know, if it's spotted,
it's
like, okay,
too close by, you might get it at home.
And that combined with mules as well. You know, whenever you take a hidden base as Terran, always land your mules at the hidden base. You never want to land anything mule-wise anywhere else, because with the mules, you know, they mine minerals so much quicker. You can take as many of the assets from that base as possible, and even if it's spotted, you can get out, And especially if it's a base on their side of the map, those are minerals that if it goes to like an insane late game, those are minerals they don't get.
Yeah, I mean that is true. If you suck a bunch of minerals out, suddenly they do have less on their side. Of the
Right.
map.
Doesn't usually factor into the entire game, but it's one of those things. If you really want to go down that path
It's a possibility.
and bring it to its logical conclusion, that's where you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna go mech again, to be honest. When you look at
oh
that,
my god.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Well, now he has to go blink.
Oh
to get
my
that
god.
out. Imagine
Well-
how surprised the Reaper would be if it jumped up.
You know, this is where I talk about Deer being just so inconsistent. Look at this. There's
That's a
some
hidden armory.
Yeah.
So hold on.
So we have the Stalker here under quarantine from coronavirus.
I
We'll
guess.
see if after 2 weeks he can come out of his base via War Prison. By the way, this is among the most humiliating things I've ever seen in a GSL game.
Oh, okay. It's like, whoa. Well, I mean, you hang out with me all the time, Tay, so you've seen more humiliating things than that Stalker. But
dude, for a game, this reminds me of what was that guy's name? The guy
San.
who blocked his San. Damn, look at that.
Well,
You know
that's the most embarrassing thing that's
You
ever
block your
happened.
Nexus with the with the pylon.
That
but,
was something else.
I mean, the fact that this might not factor into the game as far as wins or losses go, but this just shows that Deer did not quite have the placement mapped out correctly here.
So now we see what he's trying to do with that hidden armory, right? He's going to go for very quick drilling claws. This can be really, really tricky because you need detection, obviously, to see them, and they burrow so quickly that if you don't see the medevac flying in, the probes are dead. Like, you have to react so much quicker.
Am I correct in saying that TY has the widest range of builds for top-tier Terrans? I feel like he does.
I would say that Maru has just as wide a range, but those two.
You know what? I almost think the TY might have like a little bit more. I mean, like, for instance, this hidden armory build, we'll never see this from Maru.
We don't really ever see this in general unless you're playing in about Diamond on the Korean server, but yeah, I don't know. Maru has some pretty out there stuff occasionally too lately, since he's really kind of hit his stride. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like hard to guess what in the world he's up to, right?
Okay, here comes that hallucinated peaks. Now, just you don't come in here and go, where's your armory?
Well, you see that upgrading, right? So are you thinking, oh, is he upgrading like Cyclones? Like, is that what's going on? But you don't see a Cyclone.
2 Stalkers in the back to defend.
Dude, he's adding 2 more gases. Maybe he is going to go mech.
Artemis, he's going to go mech, I think. Now, this Observer's well placed.
Yeah.
Very well placed. Oh, wait, did he not spot that? Wait.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Okay, he's going to get the burrow. All 3.
Oh, my.
Oh!
A good split there at the end, but still,
Yeah.
6 probes
First
is
shot
pretty
was
darn
pretty good. And the War Prison, not War Prison, what am I saying? The medevac goes down.
What is this?
Good thing he could blink away from the edge of the Terran's base.
Did he have an observer up there or something that died, or?
I'm not sure.
Oh
TY
my
is
gosh.
especially good at shooting down the ops when he gets inside the base.
Okay, gets rid of that one. He has his 3rd base going up. It's not end of the world damage, but it was pretty good. Now, do we have mech going on? Yes, we do! Mech again! Look at this guy.
That's so cool that he's doing this.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool.
I want to see now if TY is going to keep using this style in the tournament or if this is like something he's going to bring out because, by the way, TY is a player that can plan for an entire tournament, not just a best of 3.
Oh, yeah.
So he might have this style he brings out so that other players don't have data on what else he wants to use.
Well, I guarantee you he can't use it every game. Because if TY were to use this every game, that means that it's better than Bio.
Yeah.
You know? But I think to mix in is nice because if you're like a Protoss player in the round of 16 and you're looking at these games, do you pick him for your group?
Well,
Probably not, right?
Not just that, but it's like, what am I practicing for if he's going to do this?
Yeah.
This is...
Who do you get to do this against you that can do it like
yeah.
It's impossible.
Can you do a weird mech
And then
build?
he'll just not do it, and you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
I wasted so much time.
So I have to be prepared for every possible thing that could ever happen. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's StarCraft right there.
Now, oh my god. Okay, good pull away. Excellent pull away. And this is where
Yeah,
it can
good
become
defense.
cost inefficient with the Widowmine drops. There's definitely a limit, but TY says we're not at that limit yet. He's loaded up 4 more Widow Mines into a medevac, and that's headed northbound.
By the way, this is Colossus tech again, just one Robo Colossus, but still going down that route, getting charged, getting 1-1. Does he actually have confirmation that this is mech?
Well, that's a good question.
Because his
know,
build,
we have a lot of Widow Mine builds where they don't go mech.
Yeah, even with the drilling claws.
Yeah,
that doesn't just mean mech. He's gonna get in here.
He sees 2 siege tanks with Widow Mine, so it's
that doesn't.
But it should. I think that says it's mech. Right?
Maybe, yeah. That's like
it's
a lot of
factory
production.
Units. Yeah.
Yeah, that means like with the amount of mines that you've seen so far, that would be like a reactor and a tech lab. So yeah, I feel like he should be able to put together that it's mech. But there's like some Marines out there too, which makes it a little bit tricky.
Right.
Now he's taken another base really quickly. I think that he knows now. Because if it's bio and you take that 4th base right now, that could be a little bit more scary.
Did he see that? The Widow Mine there?
He did move his army down there.
The best way to get the most probe kills is actually during the transfer.
Oh, God.
When they send them over for the Widow Mine, that's
Yeah.
like literally, I guess also if you get them right exactly when they're running away and grouped together. But yeah, we'll have to see if that plays a role. I'm sorry, it's still there, right?
I believe it's still there.
Yeah, I think we see it on the mini-map.
Yeah, and the probes just went there. Oh, it cut 3. Oh, they were clicked to one of the top patches.
Well, he got the kills and he gets out. Good move. He can always shuffle that Widow Mine over there and do some more damage later on. Here comes some Hellions over here again. But good defense by Deer. This game is overall sized up to be a better game from Deer.
Yeah, I think he's in a much better spot than he was in a lot of ways, but it still feels like he doesn't know it's mech all the way. Like, I don't see any of the things that I want to see against mech.
Good blink. Body blocked.
Right? Like, we haven't seen any air upgrades start. We haven't seen additional robos come down. Like, we're seeing Archons get made. It feels, okay, well, this is a way some people play against mech. Like, if Patience sees mech, he's just like, yeah, let's make a bunch of units and attack. So maybe that's what we're going to see from Deer.
Okay, here comes the push now. Deer going to edge forward. I don't see anywhere you actually would ever want to attack into.
But
well, hold on. He's going to take a 4th. I take it back. Before that CC had lifted, I thought there's no way.
Walking down that ramp, you might die.
Yeah. We have another Widow Mine drop inbound here.
Oh, he's actually backing up.
Okay, this is, I want to say, an impregnable position here from Terran. Granted, most of the tanks are not in siege mode, but
he wasn't quite.
This is like never going to work in a million years, right?
I don't think so. It shouldn't.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. You know, he had most of, yeah, I am wrong, actually. He didn't have most of the tanks in siege mode. And wow, okay, Deer just comes through and smashes here.
It's all right. The medevacs are coming back with the mines. We'll see if they can clear this out. But yeah,
that's
it looks like
GG. Wow, okay.
You know, he wasn't quite in position. I think that if he is sieged behind all that stuff when this comes, it's an easy hold.
I think you're right.
But of course, he was walking down the ramp, and then suddenly Deer is on top of him, and yeah, he got cleared out pretty quickly there. But that was kind of like the brute force. Let's get the Terran where he's not defending 100% perfectly with mech.
Yeah, again, not having the siege tanks in siege mode, having them run back, some liberation zones were inside. Everything about it was bad. Deer definitely pleasantly surprised by that attack. I guess we really just don't know the answer. Will TY mech again? I feel like it's...
Third map is Golden Wall, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Does he... Yeah, I don't know how this changes that, because Protoss generally want to go, like, blink and charge pretty quickly.
Sure.
That might open up a window against mech. I'm not sure.
We might have it built entirely tailored to this map as well.
Yeah.
Then again, TY already once on this map said he just is going to cheese. make you waste your practice. Game 3's up. Let's see who moves on to the round of 16.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양. 타이지 게임 디어 백동준.
I gotta say, I do kind of hope that TY advances because I think Deer versus Armani or Bomber is going to be a more exciting match.
Should be closer, right?
Whereas when I think about TY against them, I'm like,
It does seem like a lot of what's happened in this best of 3 so far is more about TY than it is about Deer. You know, it's like, okay, he went for the Crazy Unicop again, but he wasn't set up this time. I don't think that Deer in practice was anticipating even 2 mech games, maybe even let alone 1.
Probably not 1, yeah, I would imagine. If you think your opponent might mech, I think you play a very different game where you're actually looking for it and lining up some good techs or more greedy play, something like that.
One thing about TY though is he really does appear to be ahead of the curve by a lot. As just RTS understanding compared to even the other GSL players.
Well, it makes sense, right? He's been a pro gamer now for like 13 years or so. And
TY?
Yeah.
I think even longer than that.
13 or 14 years then, I guess, because he's 25 right now. He started at his 12 as a pro. And
no, you're right. It would be. Yeah, you're right. It would be 13 years. Wow.
Yeah, if you're a pro from the time you're 12, that's like. I mean, your brain should be pretty acclimated to thinking about StarCraft in a smart way.
Can you even imagine? Remember being 12? I barely do. What grade are you in the U.S. if you're 12th or if you're 12 years old?
Let me think about that actually.
I'm at second.
Like 5th grade?
Let me check on my phone.
Right? Yeah, 12 is 5th grade or so, give or take 1 year.
Year old, and I'm just checking on my phone. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or you might be in 7th grade actually.
Not me. I was in 5th grade.
So you would like be about to start middle school.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah. So wow. Think about that. You were learning like some of the most basic stuff ever, but TY was on TV playing the hardest game ever made.
Yeah.
Against other strategy geniuses.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's pretty wild. That's kind of cool.
I mean, and by then, yeah, and you've been doing it this entire time, but now here you are on stage. There's nothing more you than this thing, if that's what you started doing then. And what's funny is, I guess, yeah, the first time I played StarCraft was when I was, what, 13 or something like that?
You should have been 14 or 15.
14 or 15, okay.
14 maybe?
No, because I'm a year younger than you.
Yeah, so you should have been 14.
14?
Because I think I was
15
15
I was 14.
or 16 when it came out.
I'm trying to think about how garbage my understanding of the game was right when it came out.
Well, everybody
who just first got StarCraft, what you think you know.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
And then you get online, you're like, oh, by the way, isn't this just very pretty on the eyes?
Cool.
This is just...
Yeah, I really like that. They're watching that Fortnite tornado.
They're Fortnite dancing!
My God. All right, so some Banshees coming out. Is he going to mech, Tasteless? Tell me quick.
No.
No?
No.
Yes, he's going to mech.
Oh, is he?
No.
No?
I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna, I don't think he'll mech this time. I don't think mech, I don't think mech is good on this map actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's too. I mean, it's split in half, and
what if you put a siege tank behind the gold minerals? What's up,
then it's game over, man.
Game over.
Game over. Get out. No, I think he'll go bio. I think he's had his fun.
But there's his third command. Let's see if he throws on 2 gases.
Come on. Is there an observer here?
Soon.
Well, that's not very many kills. 3. Is he going to get the 2 gases?
Where's his gases?
Nobody touched the gold
No
yet.
one wants Stimmy Marines. No one cares.
I want some Stimmy boys. I want some Space Marins.
Space Marins. I guess we'll just never know. Yeah, I think it's going to be
We'll never know. What do you mean?
We'll just never know.
Yeah, because then the Earth was hit by a meteor and it wasn't important anymore. Like,
No, because I mean, even when the game ends, they were like, "So wait, did he go mech in that last game?" I'm like, "I'm not really sure, to be honest." There was like some mech units and some bio units, and like,
to be honest, when the Banshee killed 3 probes, I blacked out and I woke up and it was in the losers match. So I don't know.
Yeah. See. Guess we'll never know if he's gonna go mech or not.
I woke up around a bunch of empty hot 6 cans and thought, not again.
There they are. It's mech.
Factory time.
Where are my factory boys at? Okay, so it's again Colossus Tech. It looks like a very standard anti Bioforce, and again, what we saw that last game was TY getting slightly out of position, and that very strong force attack moving through to a victory. Now that's not as likely to happen here because TY is expanding behind. So you're basically, your one attack path is actually up a ramp into his natural, and that should never, ever work, right? If TY just takes control of the back with mech,
that's what I'm thinking. Can he push to the bottom?
You can't use Colossus Charge Lot against that, right? It's impossible, isn't it?
I think so.
Tell me, Tasteless.
I think he's going to try to push to the bottom, but can't Protoss try to counterattack some at the top?
Through those depots? Look at those!
I think you can maybe try. I don't know.
A Protoss kill depots? It's never happened. It can't.
Protoss eat Banelings. That's the only answer.
All 3 races should have Banelings. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
If just that was the whole game, was drones and Banelings. That's it.
That's all we want.
Well, that's the world no regret lives in, at least. Right?
Someone's going to mod the game, and that's going to get bigger than StarCraft. Did you know that Bane Bomb game was actually a mod of a game called StarCraft? It's on one of those Ask Mojo top 10 things about gaming you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the Score Esports.
What's Ask Mojo?
It's, you know, the things that you don't know that are just in the world. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, that's for everyone, that's true.
That's like the top 10 things. It's one of those top 10 or top 5 things.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see that
thing?
Was it the Score that did it? It's like why StarCraft died or whatever. And
like
they got
StarCraft die?
And they got everything wrong in the article, and it's like,
oh, that's sick.
It's like so weird. I'm like, are people really paid to do this?
They are paid to do this.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
They missed like match fixing scandals and everything, and probably got all their information off of Reddit. It's so weird.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. But who's Mojo?
It's Ask Mojo. It's another bad. It's like, here are the top 10 Batman villains. Here's our list of the top 10 anime.
Are you in there?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm number 8, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put you, like, I'd put you at 7, but like 8's fair.
8's fair?
You're above the Penguin.
I don't know. I think I might be below the Penguin. I think I'm right up above Clayface.
Oh, I am so sorry. I thought you were Clayface.
I am, and I don't have my makeup on, man.
So see these depots? Basically invincible. He cannot get in here.
Yeah. Ugh, these depots.
Did I call that perfectly?
I love that he has to attack lower depots before he can even attack into it.
It's true.
It's true, too. It's a funny thing about the way the AI works.
Yeah.
You're like, well, they're lowered, right? Can't you just attack the units? You're like, no, actually, I can't. The AI won't let it go that way.
Yeah. Everything will mess up.
Yeah.
The depots will take hundreds of damage, and his army will kill mine.
Yes.
So look at this. He's actually re-walling right here. I've never seen a turret in a wall, but that's cool. I really like how this game is turning out, right? Because Deer is getting very, very big. He's going into, you know, Fleet Beacon, you know, Stargate Tech in general. I think it'll be carrier.
I love the...
I think Tempests aren't that bad against mech, though, to be honest.
I love the way that the expanding's happening here. TY's taking the gold base, has a share of both the upper and lower platform, but Deer has gone all in on the top.
Yeah. Well, he should take, like, another base even, right? If your opponent is sitting there just making siege tanks...
Where does he go next?
Take the one to the right, like on TY's side.
Oh,
see
you're
the one
mad.
he just took? No, 100%. Take that and take your gold. Just make a bunch of Nexuses. Nexus Sprinter, go Burr. You're playing against mech. Come on. You know how to play against mech. Come on, Tasteless.
True, yeah.
This is the way to do it.
You do want to have just like a lot of...
Make 100 Nexuses.
Yeah. But this is a more mobile mech army, Artosis.
It is. That is true.
Here we go. Oh man, what if he just dies to this? What if he's like, oh yeah, you can't make that many Nexuses. TY.
I didn't make that many yet. But his splash damage is not up to the task of erasing all those Hellions, I think, right? I think that's the problem. Sidestorm is... Oh god.
Oh god, the flank
This
is
is
less
not
than
good.
ideal.
The
But hold
flank
on.
is. Where is the flank? Oh, there it is.
Okay, this is awkward because most of the Hellions were actually not in the fight. And they're what's really needed to be soaking the damage here.
Yeah, I like the Immortal getting on top of those Sea Chinks a little bit. He might end up holding if he...
I think actually Deer wins this.
I think, yeah, Deer, like, he ends up holding, I think, here.
No, I guess I'm...
If you make a round of
Sorry
Stalkers...
guys, I'm not used to calling mech fights like this very often, so
Okay.
I'm like...
See, there's this round of Stalkers, and now you can kind of just blink around and kill everything. But, like, TY got rid of his army for the most part, right? That was a lot of Immortals. Again, I don't think the Colossus are good against mech. I don't get it when Protosses make Colossus against mech. They didn't do anything.
It seems like it's just in the meta now. You have Colossus, but he's not really playing, I think, the whole way through the game like it's mech. I think he's reacting a little bit later. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm...
Well, we didn't know. We still aren't sure against mech, right?
Even when these fights happen, I'm still not very clear on who's going to win.
Yeah.
I try to use my tasteless cheat code by watching the Immortals and seeing how long they last, and it hasn't always been working out as well for me.
Well, they were around at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of Thors being added in right now. Reasonable anti-carrier. It's so funny watching lock-ons go on to interceptors and stuff.
I know.
It's like, is there anything worse than that?
And then it follows the interceptor as the interceptor goes inside the carrier, and then the missile goes into where the Death Star part of the carrier is, and it blows it up.
That would be amazing.
And the interceptor, for some reason, has to fly out of the carrier, just blowing up.
Well, Deer is on that interceptor, just flies across the map and on the stage.
And blows up because he has no carrier once he's out.
Just better not take too much damage. He's making a Phoenix right now.
Okay.
What's that for?
To pick up a tank.
Oh, maybe just sit it behind his expansion, like waiting for Banshee or something?
He wants him to think he's making hallucinated Phoenixes. And then when he makes a unit comp to fight sentries, whatever that could possibly be, then he'll know.
Thor's to crush force fields.
Yes. The mind games. Oh, the mind games. Oh, a carrier shadow. Well, things have really slowed down in this game.
Yeah, it's a quiet period. It definitely feels like advantage TY, but the longer we sit here, the more Deer kind of gains a bank and will be able to make what he wants.
Deer will also mine out his gold base. I'm sorry, TY will mine out his gold base first.
That is true.
You know, Speed Banshees are proving to be really helpful on this map. There's nothing quite as fast that can just shoot stuff down as Banshees here. But a good warp in there, he drives that away. Speed Banshees might even be stronger when the Protoss is actually maxed out and therefore can't warp in to save stuff.
Yeah.
Artosis!
Shunning Claw's not quite done yet. Does end up pushing this back pretty easily with that force. But TY did lose a base there. And the thing is, losing a base right now is actually not as impactful.
Yeah, we're in a very, very late game TVP here. Now, is Terran going to do a further push over here? Because although expansions are not many down here, he can actually come in here and start to eliminate a lot of the tech.
Do you think TY's going to try to push into the main?
I thought he was, but he's turning around.
I wish he'd send probes to that.
I still don't
gold
understand,
nexus,
you know, what Mac right now on this map especially. Okay, he is going to push through.
Well, I think you get up here and you can kill the Nexus on the gold base, which is nice.
You know,
that's a free kill.
There's a real yin and yang as far as defense and offense goes, and and a give and take at that, because now there's nothing to save that base at the top, and there's actually going to be a double counter attack. We're going to be in a late game. It looks to be base trade here, unless Protoss decides to go back home, because right now.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is a base trade. There's like nothing left for TY at home right now.
Okay, he's got 3 Immortals. If he could stop that before it starts.
Look how many command centers he's losing. And look, the Dark Shrine starts.
Oh my God, if he gets the pylon! All right, the Immortals do get out. Yeah, you know, with Terran basically maxed out, you can't even make anything to save that. I'm actually so shocked that Deer sent this back here.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Well, he wants to clear out his supply. I don't know. It loses so many Immortals right there.
Yeah, that was so much.
And in fact, look at this.
Oh, what? TY crushes this?
Well, I mean, he sent a big chunk of his army back. Oh, yes, that's what we need for this game.
Yeah, we need Immortals with, like, Brood Lord range, you know?
be the best unit in the game.
We need immortals that shoot out broodlings.
That explode like Banelings.
Yeah, yeah.
And do splash against sky units too.
Yes. Okay, so
you see this Liberator fighting Interceptors?
Yeah, he's gonna get dizzy. He's like, oh, they're everywhere. I have an inner ear imbalance.
Yeah, he's gonna get like rad counters or something.
Well, this is all the infrastructure for Protoss. Granted, that's going to be remade up here. I don't believe that will be enough in any kind of manner to get the Protoss to recuperate. I think everything is obliterated down here, even with the amount of minerals and gas that are at the disposal of the Protoss. This is just like way too much from Terran, and Terran never really suffered a major infrastructural loss. So,
yeah, his production's still up, and he's got good bank and way more supply.
When you see the Protoss's main base get destroyed, even if they have minerals and gas, usually what they're remaking is just gateways. Your gateways, and then that, of course, that makes gateway stuff, which is a technical term if you want to learn how to be a caster. And that is just not good against mech.
Gateway stuff?
Gateway stuff.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
TY does not really have that much mining going on, I guess, so I think Deer with 3 bases that have decent mining going on, maybe he can make something happen here still. He had DT Blink, that was just sick, by the way. Imagine DT Blink here, look how much he's doing! Oh, that was a good split.
That Thor shot from the hip. See him whip around. All right, but maybe this one carrier that I imagine Deer is flying right now.
Oh, he's in one of the interceptor stations.
Okay, let's watch this really hopeless moment here for Protoss, where even though in theory Immortals are good against mech when there's this much splash damage and attacking units come out.
But what? Maybe he can get his Zealots on top of everything, do a good blink, and let the Immortals get some hits?
Well, let's hope so.
Oh, this is the worst
God.
thing in the world is walking around this right now. Look at this. Yeah. Everything's stuck behind the Stalkers. Oh, my God. Well, luckily for everything, the Stalkers died very quickly, and they got to go ahead and die as well.
I want you guys to know that most of the Protoss units were not in pain when they died. Okay?
Except the Stalkers. They were really
They died. They died instantly.
That was not a quality wraparound right there.
No, that was not. And, okay. Let's find that Cheeky here. This is over game. GG. TY wins. Our beautiful player caster TY advances to the round of 16. Deer, it was a good series, but at the end of the day, I think it's pretty clear that TY is the player that is supposed to advance. Yeah. And now we're going to have a close match, I think, in the losers. And I think we also got a close match coming up in the round of 4.
It's possible. It's possible.
TY, casting, playing, always gaming.
Man, I'm excited for the next round just to see if TY keeps the mech up.
Yeah, me too. That'd be cool. We're going to have an interview now. Gary will be asking TY some questions. We'll see how he's feeling now that he has managed to advance to the round of 16 in the GSL Code S.
All right, we're going to have an interview with TY, the first winner of Group B. Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
네, 자 절친 매치 승리를 거둔 소감부터
And now you beat your best friend Deer and you move on to round of 16. How do you feel?
굉장히 잘해가지고
Well, Deer's really good at late games. I was a little worried.
어떻게 하면 이길 수 있을까?
So I was wondering how to beat him.
많이 했고 결국 메카닉이 답이더라고요.
And in the end, I knew that mech was the answer, and that's why I used it. And I think worked really well.
답이라고 생각하셨다는 게
Oh, you saw mech was the answer.
프로토스에서 좋은가요?
I'm quite curious as to if it's good against
메카닉이
Protoss.
좋다고는 못하겠는데.
I mean, I can't say that mech is perfect, but since the Immortals are so strong,
요즘
you know, mech is pretty good against that.
약간 배제하는 플레이를 굉장히 많이 하더라고요.
And you know, the Protoss players don't think about mech when they strategize,
잘된것 같습니다.
and I think that worked out really well for me.
3세트가 조금 강제된 메카닉이란 점에 비해서 2세트는 천궁지로의 드랍빌드로 시작하고 메카닉.
In the second set, you start off the game with the Widowmine drops.
이거 뭐 메카닉 의도를 숨기기 위한 거였나요?
And was this prepared to hide
딱히
the
그런
fact
건
that you're
아니에요.
going
그런 건
for
아닌데
mechanic?
그 연습하는
No, not really.
과정에서 김대엽 선수랑 많이 했는데
While I was practicing, I scrimmed against stats a lot.
굉장히 많이 잡았거든요. 그래서 이건 1승 빌드다라고 생각을 하고
And I knew that
있었는데
this build would work against good product
충격이
players.
좀 컸어요.
네, 오늘 경기 사실 두 선수 양쪽 한쪽의 뭐 일방적인 경기는
And today's
아니었습니다.
match was definitely not one-sided. It was quite back and forth.
오프라인 상대 전적이 9승 9패.
And your offline record head-to-head is 99.
승부까지 박빙인 그런 이유가 있을까요?
So why is this so close between you
제가
and Deer?
프로토스전을 굉장히 잘하는 편이라고 생각을
Well, I
하는데
thought my
동준이도
PvP was
그에
good,
맞게 테란전에
but
굉장히
on the other hand, Deer is really good at the PvT as well.
비등비등한 것 같고
So I think that's why we are just like 9 to
그런
9.
경기가 많이 나올 것 같아요.
And in the future, I think it's just the trend is going to
올
continue.
초만 해도 IAM이나 슈퍼 토너먼트에서 예상에는 못 미치는
In this year, your performance at IEM Katowice and GSL Super Tournament was not that good. But with today's performance, I think the fans can have high hopes on you. So why is your performance getting good right now?
마음가짐적으로 좀 부담감이 좀 심했어요.
I mean, like at the start of the year, my mindset was quite bad.
이제는 어느 정도 해소가 돼서
But now my stress has been relieved,
무대를 즐기면서 할 수
and
있을
now
것
I'm trying to
같고
have fun on the GSL stage.
잘 나올 거라는 확신이 있습니다.
And I know for certain that my performance is going to get better.
한편 해설로서는 요즘 썸펠레 이야기를 듣고 있어요.
On the other hand, as a caster, you make quite bad predictions. What about that?
그런 이미지를 없애고자 제가
Yeah, I kind of have that image right now.
제가 발언한 대로 1등 진출을 했고 결국은
But as I hope, I did advance at the first place today.
부족해서 떨어진 선수들은 떨어지지 않았나.
But I think the players who dropped out, I think they deserved it.
그럼 내친 김에 본인의 시즌 1 앞날을 예측해 보면 어떨까요?
How about you predict yourself then?
솔직히 좀 걱정이 많이 돼요.
I'm
아직까지
kind of worried right now.
세태전에 비해서 저그전이나 프로토스전이 많이 약해서
My TVP and TVZ is quite weak compared to my TVT. So unless I implement a fix on that, I think it's going to be really hard. So I'm going to have to fix on that.
굉장히 겸손한 답변 들어봤습니다.
How humble of you,
그럼
TY.
마지막으로 한마디 들어보겠습니다.
In the end, do you have anything else to say?
최근에 좀 폼이 안 좋아서 좀
Well, my
걱정을
form
많이
has
하고
been quite
부담감도 많이
poor
느꼈는데
recently, and I felt a lot of pressure.
정말 다행이고요.
But I'm really happy that I won today.
올해 초에 굉장히 일찍 떨어지고
And at the beginning of this year, you know, I was eliminated early in the round. And I'll try to put a better performance in GSL. Once again, congratulations on the win. Thank you.
네, 이렇게 1위
Thank you, Andy.
진출자 전태양 선수 만나봤습니다.
So we kind of expected TY to be the one who would be advancing there. Now we're going to go to the losers match and see who will be eliminated first in Group E.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how these two will actually match up. I feel like Armani's going to take it. I don't know. I hope that Bomber can really fight back and show some great games for the rest of the night, though. It would be like so hype if he could make it to the next round.
Well, even just seeing him do, not get knocked out first in this group would be exciting.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's all the time we have for now. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, the losers match. Don't go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
짠짠이 맛칠성 사이다 정다운이 맛칠성 사이다
70년이 사이다. 칠성 사이다. 우리 입맛엔 칠성 사이다가 좋아요.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
당신 뭐 핫식스 더킹 아세요?
핫식스 뭐요?
핫식스 더킹.
이거 정말로 맛있는데
제가 오늘 핫식스 더킹 먹었기면 당신은 저한테 빨릴 거예요. 아세요?
이런 악마의 음료 이걸 빠시다니.
그리고 핫식스 더킹 그 빨간 제품 있거든요. 열대 과일 맛이 나요. 열대 과일 맛.
자신 있으세요?
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
Took a trip down to the coast. You love me, I love you most. Drove all night to get to Tallahassee, but you woke up to the sea. Took one look around and screamed. Turned around 'cause I forgot my sunscreen. I knew this was wrong from the pop the question. But when I showed you the ring, you just looked at me and screamed, "That's so sweet, let me check with my boyfriend." I knew this was wrong from the beginning. Knew I should run away, but you had your hooks in me. Spicy sweet, you're cool and then you're crazy. So goodbye ecstasy, hello catastrophe. Take me out, say psych right now. Say it's not true that I'm stuck with you.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
마법의 음료 하식스를 마시게 되면은 엔돌핀이 확 돌면서 머리에 수분이 공급되고 그리고 뇌가 바로바로 한 모금만 마셔도 뭔가 알 거야. 100ml 더 늘어나고 마시게 되면 진짜 마법의 음료. 신제품 빨강색.
반칙 그것은 전설의 음료 하식스.
올 때 하식스 많이 마시자. 진짜 괜찮지?
맛있다 이거.
파랑색, 빨강색 맛 여러분들 많이들 진짜 마셔주시고 진짜로 거짓말 안 치고 맛있습니다.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
너무 많이 마셨다.
청정제주 숙취비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
라운드 오브 24 TY 전태양 바머 최지성 아르마니 박진현 디어 백동준 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to eliminate one of the 4 players from Group E. This is Armani versus Bomber. Bomber, if you followed the early few years of StarCraft 2, as the game was developing and the expansions were continuing to come out, Bomber was one of the most dominant players, particularly in global tournaments, marathon tournaments, which are held all over the world, Asia, Europe, North America. But he has been gone for some time now, fulfilling his military service, which is required of all young able-bodied men in South Korea. Armani is the rookie of GSL, and it's a little bit weird to say because he's been in 5 GSLs already, or I guess I should say 4 already. This is his 5th, but I really don't know where this goes or how this is going to look. I mean, Bomber has so much experience, but is really from a different era. Yeah. Armani looked good, but not clean enough, not strong enough, not reactive enough to take on Deer, but Bomber's a different opponent. I think this could go either way, but I'm banking on Bomber.
Oh, I'm taking Armani with this.
I'm going with the fan favorite here. I'm throwing him some red meat. I'm like, guys, remember when Bomber was so good?
Well, he can be good again, Tasos. I believe.
Bomber!
I want it.
Sign my mouse pad.
전투 준비 완료.
It's like our production got invaded.
퍼포먼스로 앞서가다.
Nesty's
LG
face comes on
울트라
screen.
기어와
Oh my god.
넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가
Did you
이번
forget
전투를
about me,
지원한다.
Tastosis?
Never.
Nesty, your English is amazing now.
아프리카 프릭스 아르마니.
Nesty does not speak English. He just speaks into your mind directly.
That's right.
So of course you understand. You hear it as English because you're simple.
That's right. It's like that movie Contact.
게임 GP.
That's old now.
최지성.
Or the aliens are her parents. They're like, we thought this would be the easiest way to talk to you. Remember that?
Oh, you're talking about the Jodie Foster movie?
Yeah, yeah. What did you think? Was there another Contact?
No, I was thinking of the more recent. I can't even remember what the name of it was. But yeah, they've got a nice record too. Oh God, what is the name of that?
This is a movie or
yeah, a movie that came out more recently.
Arrival.
Arrival. That's it. Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought about. I'm like, what are you talking about? yeah. But they took the form of her parents to talk to her.
Arrival's great too.
That has one of the greatest quotes of all time, though, the Contact movie, where like the first one blows up, right? And they're like, "This is America. Why build one when you can build two for twice the price?" It's like, damn, that's sick. But well, that was an alright movie.
Contact was okay until they actually got to meet the aliens. Then I'm like, oh,
it was silly the way that. Yeah, that's.
It was better when there was just like that beeping sound, like.
Yeah. I want this to be an elaborate like scheme that they eat her or something. You know.
I think it would have been better if at the end of Contact they discovered it was actually just a giant alien that had left its iPhone alarm on for eternity and it's just beeping like that. There's no major communication that's trying to be made. I'll have to go back and check that one out. That's it. Sometimes these things you go back and watch them and they did not age very well.
Yeah. I feel like that one would be all right though. It was kind of
I've been going through the old Alien trilogy. Alien 1, I finished Alien 2. I'm on Alien 3 now. Alien 3 was actually better than I remembered it. Now that I'm older and watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool.
I can't even remember what happened in it, to be honest. It's been so long.
Well, I remember as a kid, I think I was mostly focused on, like, is there enough action?
Yeah, number 1 is the only one that I really ever rewatch.
Yeah, well, that's the best one by far. That's by far the best one.
Yeah. Except for Prometheus.
That's by far the best one. The part where the
Alien 4 or whatever?
No, Alien Resurrection is actually the true canon. Remember when the
that's the one with the really
queen?
weird looking alien and then like has the robot suit and they fight and it gets sucked out through the window, right?
Yeah, through the back of its head. It's like the back of its head gets stuck in the hole and it sucks out its insides. Like, blah, blah, blah. Its oatmeal brain gets pulled out through the back.
Now, to be fair,
yeah,
out of everything that happens in all the Alien movies, that moment is the thing that I think about the most.
Yeah,
getting sucked out through the window, through the little hole.
Well, the funny thing is,
I still think about that regularly.
Well, what's funny is it shows that there's a better understanding of actual space, which is a problem in science fiction. If you look at the old Alien, they actually open up the spaceship door for a little bit. You know, they're kind of hanging on almost like it's the edge of an airplane, although that's not how it's supposed to work at all. It's a little bit distracting. They even did that in one of those Star Wars movies recently, where Princess Leia's like just in space.
Oh, the space switch?
Yeah, space switch.
She just flies suddenly because she has magic powers?
Yeah, and her eyeballs don't explode because she's in outer space.
No, Disney's doing a great job with that.
Yeah, no, the Star Wars is definitely in good hands.
Yeah.
Do you realize how bad Star Wars is actually going to be as this continues to just be made by Disney?
That would be like...
People in 100 years from now are going to talk about how people once thought Star Wars was good and they're not going to understand where it all started.
Yeah. They're only going to find VHS copies of the original prequels with Jar Jar Binks. They're like,
that's
what?
right.
Like,
yeah, they'll be like, well, wasn't the first one with Jar Jar? I'm like, no. They made the fourth one first. We're like, doesn't sound right to me.
All right, so we actually have a very cool build coming out of Bomber right here. He's getting quick concussive. He's got a landed Viking there as well as 2 Marauders. So this is going to help his Hellions to actually do a hell of a lot of damage because he can slow the Queens down.
Yeah, this is very cool. Pushing forward now. Looks like he's going to target this one Queen kind of in the middle. The Queen getting low. No transfuses available, so it does go down. Banelings are being made. There's 10. But actually, this is pretty far off.
Yeah, he is doing a great job
Although,
of this right now.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't attack into that. I guess he doesn't know where those Banes are at, but he could have actually forced a cancel on all of them.
I would have loved him. Yeah, look, he split 2 of them off, so that's brilliant.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, the attack move really not paying off right there.
Armani in hot water, but it looks like this attack might be fizzling out as Bomber backs off.
Yeah, he actually ended up losing that medevac. We didn't get to see it on screen, but JYP shows us there. That was cool, though. I like that. I like little teched out. It's like, this is almost a push that you know. Yeah, concussive shells and a landed Viking.
Yeah.
Ha! Got you.
But this is what makes Bomber so good. I mean, he's really bringing his own style into it. Very cool.
I like it. All right, 1-1 on the way right now for Armani. Bomber as well. Pretty well lined up on those. Layer just now starting. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to just get into a macro game. It doesn't seem like anyone has potential to kill each other at all.
No, I think you're right about that. But again, one of the things I wanted to see is a couple games of Bomber in a macro game, pushing, moving around, because he was so strong in the early StarCraft days. Just really able to seize the game by the throat and tell it what's up. So strong with pushing and attacking and dropping. Now, Armani, on the other hand, so far today, he seemed like he has a lot of good ideas, but not great execution.
Yeah. Well, Armani just is like kind of a more modern player than Bomber, so I felt like he should do better. I've liked his progression over the last couple of years. Like, he has been getting better. It's been a little bit up and down. But also he lives with Special. And that makes me think, like, Special is... I mean, you have to call him, like, a top 6 Terran in the world, I would say.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, that should help his ZBT, right? Like, that should help his understanding quite a bit.
Now, one thing I want to just clarify here, because I think we're talking about Bomber in a certain way. It's not like this guy was frozen and then we just thawed him out and brought him back, and he's in a different time period, and he's not like a caveman.
That's what it feels like, actually.
Yeah, but the truth is, he's probably talked to all the other pros. He's probably been totally updated on exactly what he needs to do to play. So, I think he still is going to have a more modernized approach. I mean, he's not like he hasn't been Han Soloed in what was he? Carbonite? Yeah. He hasn't been carbonated.
No, he hasn't been carbonated.
Although I will tell you guys, I do secretly have a fantasy of just, someone I don't like just freezing them in carbonite, putting them on my wall. That would be pretty epic.
I have a fantasy of freezing my whole family in carbonite and then taking a long nap and then I'm freezing them. Yeah, that's my fantasy taste.
I can imagine that. Now,
I have a fantasy, actually, of putting you in carbonite for like 2 years and then bringing you out without telling you and having you cast a TDZ and making you do the Reaper part. And then you're just going to be like, yeah, no, everything's fine. I'm like, tasteless. You're 38.
Well, I'll tell you what, Artosis. Depending on how the game is patched, I will always, for all time, be able to do the Reaper part of the game against Zerg, where they run around and kill maybe one Ling.
Who killed a Ling?
Maru did. Whoa, that's why he's the best. Maru killed a Ling.
That's so sick. All right, clearing some creep right now.
Bomber could get surrounded here. He's definitely in a position where Zerg can hit from a lot of angles. He's going to back off. Infestation pit over here. What's so funny?
Well, you said he could get surrounded here, and there's like Hellbats there. And so I was thinking that dumb quote, like, you're not, I'm not trapped in here. You're trapped in here.
The Watchman quote.
Yeah. Where it's like, you're not surrounding me, I'm surrounding you. But it's like, no.
It's like
he's surrounding you.
I'm like, this is not a matter of perspective. Like, one is over the other.
Yeah.
I like that, though. The push comes out now. This is not enough Lings to do anything, I think, in substance. Oh, Bomber looking good so far in this push. He's on a lot of Zerg creep, though, but it's a pretty narrow, not a huge valley, but a pretty narrow area for the Banelings to try to go through without eating so much splash. Oh my god, but with Tanks unsaved, splash is unavailable.
Yeah.
Maybe a questionable decision as far as multitasking goes here, and now Armani obliterates that army.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It gets worse.
Speed Banelings everywhere right now. So many workers go down as well.
I think we're kind of catching what you were pointing out earlier, Artosis, that as good as Bomber is, Armani is a more modern player. But hold on. The push comes further forward.
He doesn't have that many SCVs, but his army is looking pretty strong. He does have 2-2 upgrades, getting in range of this hatchery now. He is still on creep, though. That is a big deal, especially for when these Banelings finish.
Oh my gosh, the hatchery is getting so low. I think Bomber might be able to take it again. Units parading through here, but at the last second, beautiful control. Baneling's continuing to push this back.
Yeah, a lot of Lings coming out right now. I think he is going to be able to push this back.
I swear
off
that
of his creep
hatchery
as
is
well.
at like 5% health or something.
It's probably pretty low.
It's so low. And now the push is all the way off the creep. You can see Bomber frantically trying to push forward. This may lead to an overextension, though. Oh my gosh, Baneling's finishing just in the nick of time. And now Medivacs have to pick up and boost away. And the push will be reset now back all the way onto the Terran side of the map. Again, 3-base and a becoming 5-base Zerg.
Dude, he's on 77 drones. And look at the creep spread. It's good enough that I feel like that was Bomber's really big chance.
Yeah.
Because we're on Hive Tech right now. Me and Armani, you and Bomber, what are you even doing? You making one siege tank at a time?
Me and
What's that
Bomber
gonna
are
do?
pushing on creep and picking up and running away, man.
You got 3 tanks or something? Yeah, look at that, 3 tanks. Cool, guys.
Uh-oh. Oh! Good pull away by Bomber. It looks like he might barely... Okay, I was going to say barely save those, but unfortunately 7 go down at the last second. As Bomber is getting really pushed to the limit here as far as his multitasking can go.
Okay, he's setting up once again, trying to find a way in. But the amount of Ling Bane that's being created right now is truly enormous. I can't imagine him not breaking this. Like, he has to bring a group around from the other side. Well, maybe if he goes all in from one side of it, but oh my god, those blinding clouds really doing some work as well.
Yeah, there might just be too much. I think Bomber's splitting's good, but the macro, I'm actually surprised. I thought he was going to keep attacking there.
You know, I think if he had found a way to get a group around the other side of that, he could have cleared this entire Terran army. Oh god, those Baneling connections.
This is one of the first times. One of the first times where the screen can almost not quite zoom out enough to catch everything.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And yeah, we missed a big attack over there with the Banelings detonating. Looks like 15 SCVs. I mean, I think the counterattack here will force, yep, that's it. I was gonna say the counterattack here will force the 3rd CC to lift off, and then Bomber will be out of gas. Metaphorically, he'll just be out of juice that game. There's nothing else he can do.
Yeah, Terrans generally don't run out of gas, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. They don't have Archons, they don't have Infestors. But yeah, I mean, Bomber had like a cool opener. It was kind of creative and neat. We've seen things somewhat similar to that before, but I thought he executed it pretty well overall, got a bit of damage done. But as the game progressed, Armani just kind of showing the way that you can play this matchup where you're just making so many Lings and Banes that, you know, you can just kill army after army.
So now we go into game 2 on Nightshade. Armani showing that his strength only grows as the timer goes on. Bomber looking the strongest in the early game. But when it comes to late game TVZ, it's like he just doesn't quite have it. His splitting's good, his pushing's good, but you can see it seems like Bomber's stats are higher in every category, so to speak. But you know, Bomber doesn't have to play a standard game. He's free to do whatever he thinks will win. Maybe we'll have some kind of crazy cheese. I don't know.
You know what? Why not mix in a double proxy racks? Like, go for the win.
Well, that's what all the Terrans that win do anyways, at least in one of the games. So
just
it's
be like them.
Yeah.
Just play like
TY.
Yeah.
Our countdown has now started up. Again, the loser of this series is out of the GSL code as the winner goes on to fight against Deer, who is waiting to play in the 5th best of 3, the final match, to decide who will then move on into the round of 16. Armani and Bomber, both the low-tier players, at least this season. One's going to move on. Let's see who gets closer to that or actually does it.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진혁. 팀 GP, 마머, 최지성.
Yeah.
peeking out. He actually thinks that Bomber's going to do what we suggested, so he agrees
That's right.
that this is what Bomber
He's
should
a
be
fan
doing.
of our casting. That's all we can say.
No wonder he's losing.
Now, where would Taste Osis hide their barracks if they were Bomber? Bomber's staying at home, though.
Well, lucky for him, he chose not to proxy some barracks, because this definitely would have been scouted. The fact that Armani has drone scouted for them, I really like that. I think that's a smart move
I think it's generally speaking a good read on what a best of 3 would look like.
Yeah, and maybe
just preempting it.
This would be what he would be scared of, right? This is probably the one thing that really could kill him.
Well, I don't think Armani is afraid of Bomber in a long game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that at this point in time, especially just the feel of that last game, I think whenever you have games like that, you go, oh, okay, yeah, I actually am better. I just need to make sure I don't cross my T's and dot my I's.
Kind of funny when you think about what Bomber was known for. He was like the best Paraday pusher in the whole world.
Paraday?
Parade, but like fancy.
I know. But French.
Yeah, that's the French word for parade.
That's
Paraday.
You know, it is kind of crazy how much players improve over eras. You know, we've had players...
But wait a second, the players back then were better.
I am a guy who posts on forums. Do you see what I see? Yeah, I know. There's always people that like talking about RTS games more than understanding them who will say that actually... oh, my God.
That was a good block.
That was a good...
See,
good
he is
block.
better.
He is. There he is. Bomber, just keep... If I cheer for you hard enough, you'll win. No, but, like, it's insane how, like, someone who was dominant, let's say, like 3 or 4 years ago, comes up again.
It's
and they have
so
to
hard
play.
to
It's like,
come back.
wow, you are not up to par.
Yeah.
This game moves on and continues to, people advance at it and understand it better with or without you.
Yeah. It seems like those old pros, they come back and they get to a certain level that's really impressive, like they're really good, but that extra oomph to get over the hump is so difficult.
Can I point out something as well I find funny about this? Since we're talking about one of these weird things that does happen in the StarCraft scene where, and again, it's always people on forums, faceless people on forums that say that the games are better at this time and now people are not as good.
Yeah.
You know who's never said that? The former pro gamers of the time that are being stated as better.
That's true.
Literally never.
Literally never.
There's never, ever a player who's like really good 6 years ago who's saying, oh yeah, no, we were better back then. They're literally, because they know, because when they get online and play, they get smashed.
Yeah. And it's
Yet-
not just because they're out of practice.
Yes.
Everyone just gets so much better. Anyone who plays
This
knows
is happening on Team Liquid and StarCraft 1. It's happened like 5 separate times, and they are like, dude, the games
Remember that
are better
article
than...
a few years ago on StarCraft 2? It's like the players are just worse now.
They're just worse now.
Oh, really?
I'm like, really? Guy who just, yeah.
Is that right?
Is there a single pro gamer you can ask that will agree with that from now or then?
Yeah. Anytime.
Anytime period? Like,
yeah, it's pretty wild. But you see that, and you know, as far as players that have come back from the military, right?
Sure.
We talked about this in Dream's group. Dream is basically the best anyone's gotten after the military so far. Harding had a pretty long break in his comeback, even though it wasn't military service. But you see him kind of reaching similar levels. He's not quite to where he used to be because
he's
he
still
was the
catching up.
best in the world at one point.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And he's not there, but like he's actually competitive with everyone, which is like, wow, we finally have someone able to do this.
well, this took a while. You know, we have it with StarCraft 1 as well, where, you know, some players still haven't done their military service. Others are just now finishing it up, but you see them coming back. And yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, after you did your 2 years of military service, you know, to come back and try to be able to compete, it's hard, but it's not like taking a certain period of time off means you can never be as good as you were before. That literally just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that is so physical that, like, yeah, sure, I guess, you know, a 50-year-old NFL player with the knees and the damage to the body, yeah, you can't just come back.
Yeah.
As long as your wrists and hands are going to be okay, you can play as fast, and it's not like intellectually you become more deficient.
Well, even with that, as understanding in everything grows, we're seeing older and older athletes do better a lot of the time as well. Like, look at Roger Federer, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be turning 40. He's still the best in the world.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Maybe he's not ranked number 1 right at this exact second, but he's still winning majors. It's like, this is crazy. It's, you know, once upon a time, it was like you hit 30 and that was the wall.
Yeah,
And-
no kidding.
Yeah, but it's exciting to see that happen within StarCraft as well. I was always wondering if this would ever occur, but
Well, if you remember, there was a whole period of time where older players are making this bizarre excuse. This was unique to Korea, but people just ate it up at the time. Was like, yeah, when you get older, they would say your hands don't move as fast, which is like, literally that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
It's not like an 18-year-old has faster hands than a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, but people would say that you'd see it parroted on forums.
Someone's going to tweet at you this one study that was posted on ESPN about like reaction speeds or something that was just... What actually happens is people get older and change their values.
Yeah, and they stop practicing as much in some cases.
Yeah.
But this is also, you know, just the subject itself is also an interesting talk. Is he going to lose that?
No.
No. Tomato Banshee and Pumpkin Banshee.
There they are.
No, but this is an interesting thing, and this is actually a problem with the internet now, especially with Reddit in general, but just people say, one person says something that's not true or not accurate or not really sensible, and it just gets parroted for eternity. And people just keep repeating it, and I've seen this throughout my career, even before I was commenting as a player, as you know, someone who was passionate about the game. Good save by Bomber.
You know, this is just one word.
You just see people just kind of just say stuff over and over and over again, and there's no evidence for it, or there's no, you know,
yeah.
And then that just becomes the norm. And then eventually I meet a major tournament organizer or a person at Blizzard who's then repeated that, and I'm like, all right, well, here we go. The disease has finally reached its final form, and everybody's just saying it to each other, and nobody's thinking critically about it, and then, you know, yeah.
It's good to think more critically, but the thing is, this is a message of hope that Tasis is saying.
Yes.
Where someone like Bomber, actually, he could get back to his old self, where he's one of the best 3-4 Terrans in the world. That could occur if he wants to put in the time, if he wants to put in the effort, you know?
Yeah, there's no reason he can't. He's
there
too
really
old,
isn't.
No recovery, and there's no need to have this type of pessimism to begin with.
There's a certain freedom you can play with where there's not as clearly necessary a time you have to stop, you know? It's kind of neat like that. But there's also pressures. You got to make money and stuff. You're getting older.
Yeah.
So
it's hard. It's harder to.
It's
be
just
a pro
like, how
when you're
bad
older.
do you want it? Like,
where are your priorities? Now, in this
so
game,
we're almost maxed out. You want to talk about the game?
Yeah. You know, let's talk about the game at least for a little bit before we go back on this. But
like, oh, the Reaper didn't kill anything, I bet.
Well, at this point in time, Armani's got a really good amount of creep spread. There's actually literally no easy area to push for Terran. But we're still getting to the point in time, to be honest, where we need to see how does Bomber actually push. And I think that's going to be now with this next wave of Marines and a tank coming in here.
Now, 2 is pretty much lined up, by the way, which is a very important thing to look at here.
Now, this is a jungle of creep he's going to have to push through.
He's doing a pretty good job. He has his tanks on the high ground, so it's going to be hard to really lock down kills.
You want to basically... This is so good, by the way, that he remade this over here, because this does absolutely nothing. Now, again, you want to have just enough Marines in the front that you can kill off creep tumors at a pretty fast pace, but enough that if you can pull away and you won't be losing too much if you get caught. Now, here comes the counterattack here. I'm sorry, I should say surround, not counterattack.
Oh my god, that is a lot of Banelings. The targeting, maybe not quite there. The Banelings rolling through a lot.
You know, he gets all the tanks.
Yeah.
There's one more tank in this game. I don't see where it is right now. I'm sure it's inbound to meet with this push, but with not enough tanks and already plenty of Banelings to hold and 12 more on the way, I don't think that Bomber can just push through. But let's see how the Banelings connect, because if they're all shot down and don't connect with their target, then the whole game gets turned on its head. Here we go. Another attack comes through here.
Yeah, maybe that tank going up a little bit too far forward. The Ling Bane just rolling through absolutely everything. More Marines up on the high ground here, stimming and running away. Armani chooses to turn around.
Well, he's going to go back and remake some more Banes, but I think it's getting more and more desperate here on the Terran side of things.
But
even though, well, look, there's a lot that Terran has to keep pushing with, but Zerg's getting 5 bases up, and I don't see this creep being pushed away, and I see no opportunity for Terran to get a real foothold with the tank number being knocked down so low.
Yeah, he doesn't have many tanks, that is for sure, but he's hitting this kind of parade push that he was really known for back in the day, right? So 13 Marines at a time walking down. He's microing his heart out right now. It's just, is his control going to be good enough? Can he whittle this down over time?
Well, this tank is actually not covered whatsoever. It could still do a decent amount of tank shots over here, but yeah, every time the tank's picked off, the Zerg is allowed to retreat, rinse and repeat with more Banelings.
The one thing I'm
Terran
noticing from Bomber that really is separating him from some of the top tier Terrans, his tanks are not targeting Banes that well. A lot of these things, I'm seeing the tank just target whatever it wants. So it's turrets swiveling around, it's hitting Zerglings and things. You really do need to target Banelings with it. It's very, very important to try to knock those numbers down.
I want to see how well Bomber can keep control of this top base. Because one thing about Armani that's becoming more and more clear in this series is that he likes to pocket Banes on the edges of bases. Even if you know he's going to do it, he's still going to set up for that. TVZ, more so than I think any of the matchups, from the Zerg side, is you can abuse the fact that Terran might have their screen in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Banelings are the key unit for defeating infantry and killing workers. So if you just, while the push is happening, have them ready, have your Banes ready to hit those SCVs, the odds of them being able to cover everything in a fraction of a few seconds.
Okay, that is a lot of Ling Bane. Going right up underneath the Liberators, on top of the Siege tanks as well. Bomber microing back,
well,
actually holds on for now.
Yeah, the upgrades for Terran looking pretty good. A little Link counterattack comes in here, though. Now, this might be the opportunity for Bomber to push in. Is there actually enough here? He's splitting really well. He got rid of all the Banes. No real connections made. Liberator zone set up here.
He's using a lot of SCVs at his 4th base, but it's his 4th. It doesn't matter as much if he can continue to push in here. But another reinforcement of Ling Bane starting to roll through. Once again, that Siege tank not sieged at all.
Okay, the push comes through again here, and now this hatchery, he's trying to keep this alive. The game will still go on even if Zerg loses this, but I'm worried that Zerg is trying so hard to defend everything that there will not be anything left to prevent Terran from pushing.
Well, right now he's getting in there deep, but let's not forget he's on creep, so these flanks can come very, very quickly as well. Armani's still technically alive, not mining from that base anymore.
That hatchery has not been picked off. I'm worried that our Bomber is going to push in so deep here without actually taking anything with him. He's not killed the hatchery. He's getting further and further. He can kill these drones, but I mean, as you were saying, Artos, I mean, surrounds come very quickly here. But, but maybe he just has enough. And kind of an insane push by Bomber. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. That's the Bomber we know and love. He's back.
Very nicely played there. The Parade push working out for him. I do feel like I can see a difference as far as the actual battle micro compared to an Innovation or a Maru.
Oh yeah,
especially. But yeah, I mean that was good. I like it. Bomber's showing a lot of strength in that game.
He looked very good, but I think if Armani had been a little bit more patient, maybe sacked the 4th. There was a period where he was actually just rallying everything in there, and I think had he regrouped.
Yeah, he did need a regroup.
Bomber was pushing so hard, he never even killed the 4th. He actually pushed past it. He actually, it seemed, especially for the way that map's set up, he wanted to be in the middle of all the rally points.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw.
A player that's not good at completely resetting, and that can be hard in StarCraft 2. To reset the rally point for everything in a push like that. Yeah. Suddenly everything is running through the Terran army, you're just gunning it down, and you snowball it. Eternal Empire here for game number 3. Only one will move on. Armani versus Bomber. The final game starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진혁. 팀 GP, 바머, 최지성.
And now what do you do? I love this. Drone Scout again from Armani. He's not very interested in getting proxied.
Well, I think he thinks that if he just sees a proxy, he automatically wins, but he knows, okay, if I just get surprised by this, I'm going to be robbed.
Yeah, if you don't scout the proxy while it's still making, you're at a disadvantage. Like you're very likely to lose the game.
The problem is that it's hard to find the proxy.
With an Overlord on one side and the drone on the other, that's like It really downs a percentage of places.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's still easier for Zerg because you can comb one corner and then check around. I mean, they could always put it further back, but then it's doesn't have as much efficacy when the rush actually starts. But I mean, the idea is there, and I think Armani's already telling Bomber and the rest of us where he sees himself as far as strengths and weaknesses, and says, look, if I can just play the game I want to play, I will beat Bomber. Well, and by the way, this might allow Armani to warm up really well against Deer, assuming Armani wins. Because I think part of it, even though Armani's been in a couple GSLs, compared to what Deer's done and a lot of these other guys, they're so comfortable. This is just another day in the office for them.
Yeah,
and so perhaps being more warmed up. I've heard this from some pros too, that after a couple games, it takes hours for us to get through a group.
Yeah.
After a while, your body can only stay anxious for so long. You can only be extremely stressed out for so much time, And I think part of this is just, okay, you lose in the first round. Okay, fine, but that's why we give you the opportunity to redeem yourself. Here Armani is. He's playing very well. It seems to me like he might win this, but we'll see. But if he does, he'll be definitely warmed up, and definitely he'll have his head in the right spot to maybe play a closer game against Deer.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good assessment, and I do feel like he has potential to upset Deer. Definitely favor Deer there, but
yeah,
it could occur. All right, pretty standard looking opening, but based on where the SCV is hidden up at 12 o'clock, I feel like he's going to proxy a starport.
Seems like it. Oh, hold on.
Oh, no, I guess he's just waiting for a...
He's going to give him this mineral.
Scout.
He's taunting him.
Sees the third base.
It's actually a little pylon he has carrying around.
The
SCV with the mineral in his hand. It's
a
pylon.
Is it a pylon-shaped mineral?
Look.
Yeah, it is.
It's for his Protoss action figures. Please, I never got to play with my toys.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Now, a scout in here. This is definitely important that he saw that third CC. Now you just know what kind of game you're up for.
Yes.
And I think Armani's already shown he's pretty comfortable just reacting. I think, as an example, I think the most comfortable game a Zerg can play is one where they just scout what you're doing, they just see what you've got, and they go, okay. They see it early enough. I mean, that's really all that Zerg can ask for, right?
Sure.
Do I see what you're doing? All right. Do I know how to play against that? Okay. I know that's a little bit true for all races, but I think especially for Zerg.
He saw the third command, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He only started his carapace here. He got 2 evos, though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he has 2 evos at his natural. There it is, the +1 melee.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, when I see only carapace starting and 2 queens, what that looks like to me is he's preparing for a 2-1-1. Like that. But instead, of course, you want those 2 evos against the 3 command center play. And it looks like on Bomber's side that he's setting up for a very similar type of game, like a parade push specifically. He's gotten 3 barracks relatively quickly here with his 3rd command, slowing down on the medevacs. So less harassment-based, more power-based from him.
So this map, I would say even more so than our other maps, is one where you can end up with a very long TVZ here.
Oh, yeah.
Some of our longest games out of all the matchups are actually TVZs on this map, at least for the season thus far.
This map gives long games, I feel like, in most matchups.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of long, epic ones here.
Well, I think it allows for players to expand in a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And you can also continue to expand away from each other. And then you do end up with these fun games where it's a fight over the top left and the bottom right.
Yeah, we've definitely seen, especially TVZs, like you said, of that. Baneling speed on the way immediately. I think this is exactly correct from Armani. And he's actually going into Aspire. Something, my gut tells me that like Hydra would be good against this because it's a parade push. You just kind of fight power with power, but it looks like he's going to do kind of the other way around, like harass a little bit, then go back and kill reinforcements, that type of thing with the mutas. Which, yeah, I mean, it seems like a fine idea as well. As long as he keeps his creep spread out, I think that'll be good against what Bomber's doing. or what Bomber's very likely to do, I would say.
I gotta hand it to Bomber. I was pretty impressed with that push in the last game.
Yeah, he did it well.
I actually, to be honest, I didn't think it was gonna work when he pushed past.
Yeah.
The fourth, because sometimes, and this has happened to anybody who's like gotten ahead of themselves on a push, where you're like, no, just go for the kill.
Yeah.
Go for it, and it's like, dude, take the win.
Yeah.
You know, take the win and go back. But he did it. And I think Armani also is in disbelief that that push would continue as far as it did. So the drops come in here. Bomber, with great reactions, does pick up and back off.
Muta's on the way right now. So Armani going to be hoping to catch some of these medevacs. Oh, look at that turret in the mineral line. All right.
Oh, turret in the mineral line.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, it's good against Mutas, isn't it? Look at this ugly wall.
Lowering the property value of the Terran base.
Especially when Banelings roll in and kill 4 depots at once.
You're like, oh, but the feng shui of the base was good.
It's got like a big purple X where the Banelings should hit to kill maximum
It's got a
depots.
runway with lights going down for the Banelings to come in there and kill
Basically
the workers.
does.
Yeah.
All right, here come the Mutas. Let's see.
Yeah, now, again, it's a lot of this is going to come down to how much damage the Mutas can do, but with no defense over here, I mean, this is at least a great start. Now, I imagine the Mutas will then go just towards the main. The map sort of lends it for the Mutas to then go to that location. There was a turret, which Artosis was pointing out at the third, but this is a lot of damage. Now, I thought you'd have more than 5 kills by now, but...
Well, still, you know, lost mining time mixed in here as well.
Sure.
The Marines are stimming around and chasing Mutas instead of doing anything
Whoa.
else. Looks like he killed a big group of units with his Ling Bane during all this. There's that ugly wall.
Yeah, only to become uglier.
7 more Mutas on the way. He is getting that +1 attack as well. 2-2 going to be finishing up. Both sides finishing that up.
Let's see how this push goes. Terran lost a lot of SCVs, but this army was already made beforehand. Zerg's going to rely on counterattacking here on the Fugly Wall. And he just gets in.
Ooh, that's a lot of Lings. Oh no, Bomber turns around with everything.
Oh my god. And this is a counterattack where he's going to be hitting so many locations. He can actually get these Lings all the way into the main, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is brutal. This is really unfortunate for Bomber.
Now this could be, I'm not saying the game's going to end now, but this is, if it does end, we can always go back to this moment.
Yeah.
And say that's where Armani won it.
Well, especially when Bomber turns around his whole attack. If you are across the map and your opponent counters you and you turn around, that is never a good situation, ever, 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 ever. It's like wrong. You know? Like you made so many mistakes already and now you're making another one because all of his units are basically over at you.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and see these units, do those really help against that? Not as, like, you know, you almost have to get counter damage done, in my opinion.
Push continues on. And, I mean, if this doesn't work for Bomber, I don't know if anything is.
Well, all he has to do is make 1 million Banelings because it's 80+ drones to 20 CPs.
Okay, the tank's getting completely annihilated here.
Yeah, there's so many Banelings. There's so many Mutas here.
GG. Armani takes it, and Bomber is the first player eliminated in Group E.
Showed some good games, though. Definitely like Game 2 against Armani. Very strong. Yeah, I mean, I hope that Bomber continues to practice really hard. I really want some of these older guys to come back to make it, you know?
As an older guy, I want that too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm rooting for the older guys.
You know, Bomber didn't quite make it. Dream didn't quite make it.
I think this is just a start here for Bomber.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Definitely still potential for him. It's going to take a lot of hard work and who knows how long.
We have lots of time. Yeah. That's the nice thing about StarCraft.
Yeah, yeah.
We get to be an old esport and stay an old esport. We don't have, like, you know, the 3 months when our game is important before the next game comes out. So many more seasons to come. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the final best of 3 in Group E of the GSL Code S.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
짜릿한 이맛 칠성사이다. 정다운 이맛 칠성사이다. 70년이 쌓이다. 칠성사이다. 우리 입맛엔 칠성사이다가 좋아요.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
당신 뭐 핫식스 더킹 아세요?
핫식스 뭐요?
핫식스 더킹.
이거 정말로 맛있는데
제가 오늘 핫식스 더킹 먹었기면 당신은 저한테 20 빨릴 거예요. 아세요?
이런 악마의 음료 이걸 빠시다니.
그리고 핫식스 더킹 그 빨간 제품 있거든요. 열대 과일 맛이 나요. 열대 과일 맛.
자신 있으세요?
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
Everybody's gotta believe in something. 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 Break it down. What's the plan? Break it down.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
마법의 음료 핫식스를 마시게 되면은 엔돌핀이 확 돌면서 머리에 수분이 공급되고 그리고 뇌가 바로바로 한 모금만 마셔도 뭔가 알 거야. 100ml 더 늘어나고 마시게 되면 진짜 마법의 음료. 신제품 빨강색.
반칙 그것은 전설의 음료 핫식스.
올 때 핫식스 많이 마시자. 진짜 괜찮지?
맛있다 이거.
파랑색, 빨강색 맛 여러분들 많이들 진짜 마셔주시고 진짜로 거짓말 안 치고 맛있습니다.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
너무 많이 마셨다.
청정제주 숙취비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
요새 직장인들, 학생들, 모든 사람들 다
코로나 때문에 많이 힘든 상황인데
Please take care of your health. Try and stay home as much as possible.
불필요한 외출은 자제해 주시고 집에서 가족들과 즐거운 시간 보냈으면 좋겠습니다.
비록 경기장에는 찾아오지 못하더라도
선수들 열심히 준비하고 있으니까 올바른 예방법으로 건강하게 잘 지내셨으면 좋겠습니다.
다 같이 참고 잘 이겨내고
저희 경기 보면서 다들 힘내셨으면 좋겠습니다.
라운드 오브 24 TY 전태양 바머 최지성 아르마니 박진현 디어 백동준 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드 S 쇼다운.
Whoop. Silence. Oh, okay, we're back. What's up, everybody? Time for the final best of three. We're here in Group E. Armani versus Deer.
Yes.
Now, we already had these guys face off once, and Deer just played better. Okay, everything went according to plan. But I would speculate that Armani was not quite warmed up. He's our least experienced player of this season, from the past or the present. And maybe we're going to see a better game out of him this time around. Now, Deer is just a very strong Protoss player. He's one of the players, if you watch GSL, you're very familiar with him. We know he has ups and downs. You know, sometimes he plays amazingly, and then other times a lackluster, but he's usually consistent for the day. He doesn't just play amazingly in one part of the group and then lose in the others. It seems to be day by day with him. So Maybe Armani's warmed up, he can take him on, but right now we know he's going up against a very robust, very strong Deer.
Yeah, Deer is looking good, but you know, if Armani fixes one or two small things, it can make all the difference in this match.
Let's see what happens. Game 1 is ready. Let's go. Right now.
전투 준비 완료. 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어와 넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가 이번 전투를 지원한다고. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진혁. 카이지 게이밍, 디어, 백동준.
It's kind of funny watching this new 14 hatch meta.
Yeah.
So many pro blocks going on that you're like, screw it.
Enough.
We're just getting that hatch up no matter what. You got to start sending one of your first probes to block the 14 hatch. That's the next. Eventually, it's just stupid. Eventually, it's.
This is what's so fun about seeing these mini games go on and on and on.
Yeah. There has to be some point at which this madness can stop, right? Like, eventually you have to go 12 hatch. Like, is that gonna?
I don't know.
Is that going to occur?
It's weird though when the game gets that.
Eventually, there's hatch in main is like what you just automatically do because you know there's like
yeah.
2 probes.
And you know he's
going
to lose that money to send the probes out.
Yeah. Oh god, I love watching weird evolutions of the metagame like that. It's so funny.
So, as we've talked about before, it does appear, at least as where we are right now in our understanding of PvZ, the Protoss is usually required to come in at a point in time and either kill or at the very minimum cripple the Zerg.
Yeah.
If a Zerg is left untampered with...
To his own devices.
To his own devices, thank you. He will grow into an out-of-control mess that the Protoss cannot control, the Protoss struggles to take down. It does appear to be a feature of the matchup, and one that Protosses certainly have to grapple with if they're going to come out with a win. Now, the problem that Protosses face in this situation, and there's a lot of different reasons why it ends up like this. I think some of this is the fact that StarCraft 2 is the fastest game as far as RTS goes. It is faster than all other RTSs. And the way that units can be controlled, that, you know, if the Zerg identifies the timing attack, they generally can figure it out. There's not a lot of timing attacks that you can know it's coming and still lose to it. And so the Protoss is in this situation where they have to manipulate information so masterfully and disguise and mask and everything else that the Zerg is caught off guard.
Yeah.
And we've seen play. I mean, we just saw this with Zest at IEM. You know, continuously doing different types of timings. But if the Zerg eventually figures it out, they can stop it.
You know, I wonder.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Because I mean, I think you summed that up pretty well. I wonder if that's part of the reason why Dark is so good right now, is because he's just comfortable playing with less drones than basically every Zerg in a macro game.
That's
someone
a good
like
point.
Someone like a very aggressive Zerg like Impact, yeah, he'll play with like very few drones, but it's because he's attacking. Whereas Dark, like, even if he doesn't have a lot of drones, can play the macro game very well.
Okay.
Which means that he can just have like a bit more units or like be a bit safer in certain situations as well. I'd have to go back and really remember his games to see if that's what's going on, but just kind of what you said made me think of that.
I think it's a really smart point what you just said. Oh my God!
This happened twice.
This happened again. Well, you know, this is one of the things that the Zergs dream to have happen because you get in there and see what buildings they have, which is usually all the information you need to be able to tech correctly in response. Now, it's one of the reasons why, you know, there's been debate about how are Zerg too strong. I actually think part of it is just the way they operate and the place we're at in the game. I think creep and overlords and vision and the benefits of the creep in a game that's become this mapped out is just hard to deal with.
Yeah.
You know? people get very, very good at defense the longer an RTS is out.
That is so
I mean,
true.
in every...
It is silly
Brood
what you
Wars,
can do
StarCraft 2,
defense-wise.
Warcraft 3, I mean, people are crazy now with what they can defend, and that's always the opposite of where the game is right when it comes out, where everybody's you know, doing different rushes and everybody's bitching and moaning that they know how the game works, and it's like a month and a half in, and you're like, okay, literally nobody knows how the game works.
This is imbalanced. That's imbalanced.
This imbalanced. Blizzard, are you even paying
You'll never be
attention?
able to stop this.
Yeah.
It's like you stop with one Marine later on.
Yeah. But now we are at a point where it does seem like, yeah, I mean, it's if you see what's coming, it's one of the reasons why map hacks were the first hacks ever in RTS. Was that if you just saw what they were doing, then you could try to, then you would, if you knew how the game operated at a high level, you could stop it.
Sure.
And so we see this was a modest pressure build. Again,
yeah, it's kind of an interesting one, actually.
Yeah.
He went like quick glaives and didn't really get anything done, but then has a prism with 4 stalkers, which is like a meta. It was something Stats was doing at Katowice last year.
Yeah, and he was
so
doing
was
this
kind of interesting.
He was doing this as a control mechanism, not as really you know, trying to rush and do damage. But although so the Protoss basically feigned doing a lot of pressure to get a third base to probably set up for a later attack. However, it almost appears as though the Zerg may have enough to just whip across the map, and he does. He just denies the third.
I don't think he's going to kill him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, he cancels third. That's pretty big. But the Adepts, I mean, shading in right now, there's like no units at home for Zerg.
Well, he's taken out the Cybernetics core, so there's a lot of tech that's not going to come in. You are absolutely right that the Adepts are going to come through and do a lot of damage. I'm actually surprised he didn't go for the pylon there, but he takes out the gateway. That's actually probably a better move now that I look at it.
I like this for Protoss, though, really. Like,
yeah.
Look at how much he's getting done. He's getting a lot of the drones. He lost a few buildings at home, but I don't think it's really that important. Like, just remake your Cyber and remake your third.
I think you're probably right, Artosis, but I do want to point out that, you know, Protoss does need a third, right? I mean, to make this work.
Well, Armani's only on 39 drones, right? That's less than 2 base saturation.
Yeah, actually, I think you might be totally right. Maybe I'm wrong. Can he not recover from this?
Well, I think he can. The game is not over, but I think overall, what we just saw occur, I kind of liked it for Deer a little bit more than Armani. Like, I don't think that Armani's attack did enough for what he sacrificed.
Well, also, it does appear that Deer has a better setup here with his Immortals coming out.
Yeah,
and the 2 Immortals in the War Prism. Now you can start really poking the eye of the Zerg here with these Immortals. This is really annoying and hard to deal with, and it requires a lot of attention for the Zerg to stay back and defend against this. And maybe, unless there's a very small, sneaky Ling counterattack, the third should get up. But there's also a push coming behind this as well, although I don't know if he's going to commit to it. He may just be trying to push forward and then back up.
Yeah, I think he's trying to see how many units actually come in, because the Prism's up here. It's not with his main army, so you wouldn't want to do like a full dedicated attack and this harassment at the same time. He's trying to figure out where the units are during this.
So he picked off 4 Roaches back there. Really nicely done. And he's actually going to come in here and stop the Ling counterattack. And Deer, you know, he's really good at the judo of PvZ, of coming in there and hitting the Zerg where it counts while basically stopping what's coming. And I think this is pretty good handling considering how obtuse the start of this game was, where he basically did adept pressure into 4 Stalkers and a Warp Prism. And Zerg immediately saw the weakness, sniffed it out, and came in there and took out the Nexus.
Yeah. Well, with Colossus tech on the way, we can see that there's definitely a timing attack that's going to be coming out from Deer. He did make a single Disruptor, which I find really interesting. I think that can be good against a good amount of Ravagers, for sure. So, yeah, this is kind of a cool way. I really like how Deer's playing this game. Really do. It's very fresh, and it feels very smart. He really seems to be on top of his game today.
And this is what you need to be doing if you're going to be a Protoss that's going to take out Zergs. He's actually hitting the hatchery here.
Oh, no.
That doesn't always happen. Well, but when it happens in a televised match, it hurts.
The thing is, they almost never hit in these situations anyways, so it's like even throwing them down is like, well, it doesn't really take much APM to
It
throw
looks like the Disruptor is trapped in between the Colossus's legs. We saw it moving around there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like my dog when I'm in the kitchen.
He's just trying to run around underneath you. There he is. Oh, he's
Why are you always underfoot?
Now the Immortals will pull this back into a position where I think he can then meet up with the rest of the army. Is he going to go through the top? I thought he might go through the bottom, but
Look at this. He's got stuff everywhere. He's got his prism still doing work. Zealot's running around, and then his main army is like bait. He's like, hey, you better be afraid of this. But really, it's these little side harassments that are doing the work.
Okay, here comes the real push now. Now, he did not target that Warp Prism. A blink forward here. He's going to run just out of the way of that attack over there with the Corrosive Vials. Okay, he's definitely going to get this base. Again, Deer is just on another level at these mind games.
He's looking real good.
Yeah.
I love the disruptors in there, too. It's very weird seeing one Colossus 2 disruptor, especially with it having Thermal Lance. But, it's working.
Another disruption ball should be shot out here momentarily. Oh my god, I love these Banes from behind. I think the Warp Prism on the high ground can see into the fog or whatever you want to call it. But with this, hold on! Oh! That, I think, actually should be it. I mean, everything about this attack was executed brilliantly here by Deer. And Deer is showing even against a warmed-up Armani, it is no problem at all. And he should be taking this game.
Well, he just threw a bucket of ice water on him right there. That was beautifully done by Deer. Some great play.
Great push there by Deer. You know, if you're going to be good at PvZ in a tournament, you better have like 15 different builds coming out that are all confusing and convoluted as far as Zerg is concerned.
That was a weird one, man. With it, like, when you see the glaives, you're thinking, okay, is it like a Mortal Sentry coming behind this? Is it DT? Follow up, like, what are we doing? And then it was like 4 Stalkers doing light harassment with the Prism into, like, he held a push and did good counter harassment into Colossus Disruptor.
And I actually misread it back there. I thought that Deer was going to be in a worse condition because he lost his third, but you were right. I mean, he just had the right tools still at his disposal to push back across.
If his Adepts had come home, I think Armani would have been in a good spot, but the Adept counter harassment did a very nice job.
Yeah, you can lose the Nexus, but losing the workers in an important moment like that, that's too much damage. Game 2 is on Everdream. Our final best of 3, Armani versus Deer.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박지현.
So funny, the 14 hatch.
카이지 게임.
Yeah. Right before the probe gets there.
Well, this is an old technique. It's been around. I think really when we first started seeing this, it was one of the first things Protoss has figured out to do in the game. Like very, very first StarCraft was that the probe can easily abuse whether it's workers that are mining, building on the gas. This isn't a thing that happens really in StarCraft 2 as much, but also just blocking the hatchery. If you block the hatchery, I mean, Zerg obviously can just expand somewhere else, but you've already taken control of the game. If you're somebody who regularly blocks the hatch and you know how to do it, and this was stronger in years past for sure, but it also paired well with the Adepts when Legacy of the Void first came out, as people would force it off, and then they would come in with these Adepts from different angles. When you have hatcheries spread out quite a bit and creep not connected, then the Adepts are a real threat. But we're seeing Zergs continue to adapt and get back to where they need to be, and in this case, it's just by altering the build to ensure that you will get the first hatchery out. Now, you were saying maybe there's a way to send a probe out. Not maybe there's a way. You can just send a probe out and try to block it earlier, but then how much money are you losing? And
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that we'll actually see it evolve into that, but that would be funny. And to be honest, I think hatchery blocks are at peak power right now, especially with how strong Adept openings are, like the ones that Zest has kind of pioneered.
Right.
It seems to be very powerful and more influential right now, which is why we're seeing a lot of 14 hatches, whereas once upon a time, and just even a few months ago, right before Katowice, like someone blocks your hatch, like your regular 16 hatch or whatever, you just go build out your third,
Yeah.
But now people are like, no, that hatchery's going exactly where I want it, exactly when I want
I've had enough of that.
Yeah.
Twilight Mate over here. It's not made inside the main or hidden on the map, but it's in this funny spot over the natural.
Yeah, just a reaction to where the Overlord is right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot that where, you know, even if they're going to scout it later, you just can't make it where they are then. It really is a matter of even if they catch it a few seconds later, this might impact how the later fight goes on. There's another Robo mate, again, out of vision. Now he's going to scout this Robo. He has not seen the Twilight.
Ooh,
I'm sorry,
see that
he
either.
turned around. I thought he was going to get a little bit further forward here.
Doesn't see anything. He's choosing just not to lose the Overlord right now. He knows that there's going to be a Stalker out. All right, Glaives is on the way once again here. They definitely saved him last game.
Okay, he's going to shade right over here.
Yeah, he's just counting the drones, making sure that
Smart
there's
move.
the appropriate amount. There have been really cute builds where you send extra drones from your main to hide the fact that you're doing this when they do the Adept Shade-In to count drones of the natural.
Roach Warren. Now,
yeah, pretty early.
We have a lot of the same ideas we've had presented in all the PVZs we've had here today. Glaives, you know, Adept Tech coming out here, an early Warp Prism to apply pressure. And then it's really just a matter of, you know, what are the next steps that Protoss is going to take. And we're continuing to see variants of this as the game goes on. I mean, the Zerg at this point in time is not ever really expecting a really passive game from Protoss. Unless we have a new revolution with, you know, PVZ, where end game, the unit compositions for Protoss seem like they're manageable against, you know, the really robust unit comps, various compositions that Zerg can have in the late game. And so they know it's coming. It's just a matter of when and where and what exactly is it going to be.
Let's see what these Adepts can get done.
Now,
there's no drones over here, so
we want to watch the first 1 or 2 shades, see where they can commit. Now he backs off. In this position specifically, there's not a lot of other places to shade to. It's basically up or not at all.
Yeah. And you can see that this is actually being dealt with quite well. He's splitting his army nicely and making sure that the Adepts can't really take fights anywhere and do that good of a job.
Right.
And this is exactly how you want to do it.
Now, is there going to be another warp in? There is. Okay. Again, the
Stalkers,
shades come
though.
forward.
You know what? That's really cool. I like that he got the Stalkers.
Well,
he's actually going to pick off this Overlord, but also I think that they can add a little bit of damage.
I almost wonder
to the Roach Queen that keeps staying here.
I wonder if he's going to continue to try to hold this position and use this as a launching pad for a push. No. He's going to pick up over here, and now he's going to start hitting Overlords. Now, note, the Zerg's already supply blocked. This is actually a pretty technical play here.
I thought he was going to finish, too. Saw Armani the last thing. He was like, oh, are you finishing?
Shading back over to the far right. And, again, notice that the Zerg has not put any drones over here at all.
Same type of attack coming in.
And a lot of the same ideas in this game here. The third, I think, can get poked out. Where are the Adepts now? Is that them over on the left side?
Yeah, I think they've actually come home. So if they come home, he has to hold his third.
Yeah, because
he
otherwise,
won't be getting counter damage.
Yeah, Zerg will just be ahead. You just kill the third and lose some Lings and Ravagers. I think you're fine. But the Zerg's not going for the third, at least for now. Instead, it's going to be a push at the mouth of the natural, linking that to the third.
Okay, the Lings get in on top of everything. One of the sentries falls pretty quickly there. When force fields go down, they get busted immediately. Still 2 Immortals, some good micro from Deer as well.
Okay, now this is a great target to try to get that Cybernetic score. There's actually more Lings spilling in too, by the way. Is this actually enough? I mean, a Warp Prism and Immortals and everything else over here. Now, I love the blanketing of those Biles. Great play by Armani. But we have Immortals now coming in from 2 different sides. Still 3 total in the game.
Yeah, the flank is going to be too much, and Armani going to end up losing these units.
Now, that's a lot of Ravagers to lose.
Yeah. Dude, he's at 41 workers to 47 right now. He doesn't have any tech really to speak of.
I love that he's going to chase this.
I love that once again we're going to get Lings in the main.
Wow.
Well, that's a good moment there for Armani, but I think overall his attack was really not that good.
I agree. Well, I think he got stuck in something, you know. He committed to it, and it turns out that Deer has enough, you know, to balance both worlds out there. Because I actually thought I was going to do more damage from Armani. I thought, okay, He's got his number, but he also didn't even attack into the third. Really, it was kind of weird. He attacked.
I think he wanted to catch him behind the gates. If like Protoss is defensively behind their wall, an attack like that does so much.
Okay.
Because they can't really come out against it. Then it's like, well, do I kill the third? Do I kill the wall? Do I just rain biles down behind the wall? I think you have a lot of options at that point. But right now, I am definitely not liking where Armani's at.
Another attack comes in here. Now, this is actually almost more important than the push in some ways, in that you can just kill off workers. And plays like this sometimes lead to more wins than even that, like a push we saw from before. But the problem is now Deer has gotten ahead, right? He's already made this armory from the workers that were attacked that expansion. And now it's a matter of can Zerg actually hold this attack off. Zerg's on 3 bases. Oh, one Immortal goes down. The War Prism backed up a little bit too far. You know, Deer specifically in previous GSLs was knocked out because he lost his Warp Prism in PVZs to Ravager Biles. So I think some of this is him hyper-adjusting to just ensure he will never lose the same way. And we have the third going down, but the question is, I think it's more important, is can the Zerg hold his third?
Yeah, this is the important part of the game right here, right now. Okay. These Immortals dealing so much damage to this Roach-based army. Only a couple of Ravagers left over. No way to pick off the Prism, realistically.
Okay, only one more Immortal here. The Immortal really... Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, 2 more Immortals. There's another new one over here. And actually a third one coming up here. I'm way off. But this might be enough. I mean, just with the Roaches alone, the only thing really that's going for the Zerg in this fight is that it's a bigger bottleneck that he can kind of use Biles to slow this down, and these link counterattacks that are doing such an insane amount of damage. Both these guys, it's becoming a very scrappy game.
Yeah, Deer's actually taking way more damage from this than I thought he would end up taking. He's lost the third base. He's losing a ton of probes as well. He's down to 36 workers. That's not so good. And look at this. He's actually... like, I guess he has to start this over now. Is that going to give Armani enough time to get everything together he needs?
I'm not sure. This is a hard game to measure, really.
Yeah, it's like a lot of damage has been done on both sides.
The thing is, Zerg is kind of stuck with his tech.
Yeah.
You know, Protoss is actually got, I think, basically a little bit better tech, but also the room to continue to tech out, and that's why we see a Baneling's Nest coming down here now. You know, in these fights, the Ravagers keep getting lower, the count does. And the Ravager is basically the only technical unit that the Zerg has right now that like allows you to
that's the powerful
micro and control. And frankly, the Corrosive Bile is among the most limited abilities. Even though it's very good because it can allow you to use spacing, it's not like a force field.
Yeah.
You know, even though it can break force fields, the force field goes down first, and then you have to fix that later. So the Baneling's Nest is going to be pretty important, but
he's hit well before then.
Yeah, this
he's
is
got
gonna
blank.
See.
All right, walks into a couple Biles right there, but some decent force fields going down.
Again, Deer making sure that Warp Prism is safe in the back. He's lost many tournaments before by just losing that Warp Prism, and now a blink in, a blunk.
Oh God, I think he's got enough here.
Yeah,
those 5 Immortals, there's no way that they're going to be falling.
Yeah, we're beginning to see, and look at this, it's timed out just before a Baneling's Nest can be utilized, and now again another diving blink.
And
all
he is
the Immortals
just
in the back. Yeah, he is just smashed
on top of everything. Deer with just some amazing PVZs tonight.
GG. It goes to show you the difference in the top 24 players in the world still. You know? The guy who's maybe 15 or something is able to beat the guy who's 24 so handily. And maybe Deer's much higher than 15. Maybe he'll do very well this season.
Yeah,
He's actually playing much better than he has in the past.
Yeah, I like his play today. Really, I do. Against the mech, we can't really judge that too well. You can see Armani eating up a bit.
Well,
but truthfully, Deer way outplayed him.
Everybody's, you know, been putting a lot of pressure on themselves because we had so much downtime here for GSLs.
Yeah.
We're
Armani
back
on the new team, sponsored by Afrika, too.
A lot of pressure for sure.
You know, the people who own that team watch today. This is
right.
Afrika.
It's true. We're going to have an interview now with Deer. Andy, go ahead.
All right, we're going to have an interview with the second winner of Group E. He is Deer.
축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
네, 먼저 16강 진출 소감부터.
So how does it feel to go into the round of 16?
일단 솔직히 승자전에서
Well, first of all, in the
올라갈
winners
줄
bracket,
알고 약간
I thought I would
오히려
actually
저그전보다
advance.
테란전 위주로 준비했었는데
So I actually prepared against Terran more,
이렇게 메카닉에 지니까
but then I lost to the Mech Army,
기분이 좀 상했어요.
and then I was kind of sad after.
지금 가장 먼저 메카닉 말씀을 하시는 거
So
보면
you talk to us about the
패배 아쉬움이
mechanic.
굉장히 크신 것 같습니다.
So you're really frustrated after the
전태양
match.
선수의 벤시 메카닉 어떤 점이 제일 까다로우셨어요?
So what was really hard going up against TY's
일단-
Banshee mechanic?
좀 멀티를 잘 먹더라고요.
Well, he was really
그리고
good at expanding.
약간
First of all,
태양이가 확실히 그 견제 스타일이다 보니까 그런 거를 막기가 좀 까다롭고.
and you know it was just really hard to go
막세
up against him.
우주관만 하나에서 그 캐리어를 뽑으면서 좀.
And in the late game, I did use a little bit of fake by going carriers after
오늘 이렇게
gateway,
나온
but it didn't work.
특대전에서의 메카닉이 자주 보는 양상은 아니거든요.
And mech in the
레더를
TBT
하실 때
is
메카닉
not
자주
something you see
만나시나요?
often. But do you see mech in
메카닉은
your
오로지
rank match?
태양이랑 후안 선수만 아는데.
I feel like mech is only used by special or TY,
데뷔도 참
but I'm really sad
쉽지가
that I couldn't cope with it.
않았겠습니다. 자, 저그전도 이야기를 해볼게요.
Okay, let's talk about the
저는
PvZ now.
운영이나 심리전, 컨트롤 등에서
You talk about the micro, you talk about the macro, and like the battle of wits.
내려오시면서
But after the
굉장히
match,
힘드셨다고 말씀을
you said that it was really
하셨어요.
hard
어떤 의미인가요?
of the PvZ. Why is that?
사실 제가 지금 저거전에 약간 감을 못 찾고 있긴
Well, I feel like I
한데
couldn't get the
그래도
hang of the PvZ
지금
matchup.
제일 프로토스가 제일 사기인 빌드라고 생각하는데.
But right now, I feel like I did use the build that Protoss is really good at right now.
통해서 네, 다행인 것
And
같아요.
I'm just really happy that it worked out.
프로토스 사기 빌드를 썼다
So you
말씀하셨습니다.
said you used the
우리 첫
Protoss
경기
OP
때는
build.
1, 2세트 모두 암흑기사를 꺼내기도 했었거든요.
In the first set and the second set,
특별한 이유라도
you used Dark
있을까요?
Templar. Why is that?
일단 암흑기사를 좀 배제하는 저그들도 많고.
Well, there are a lot of
그리고
Zergs who don't
첫
pay
번째
attention to
세트 같은
DTs.
경우에는 약간 그 노레어 바퀴링 찌르기 그거를 약간 맞춤식으로 준비했었는데.
And it feels like DT is really good at
꿀이라서 좀
no layer
많이 당황했었는데
roach build.
진혁이가 많이 긴장한 탓인지 다크를 못 봐가지고.
And I felt like Armani was a little bit nervous when he went up
그랬었군요.
against me.
자, 오늘 이렇게 2위 진출로 2020
And now you
시즌
secured
원투
the round of 16
16강에
spot
올라가게
as a second winner of Group E.
2019년 GSL에서도 꾸준히 16강을
In 2019 GSL, you always went to the round of 16.
크실 것 같습니다. 올해 계획은 어떻게 되세요?
So what are your objectives for this year?
일단은 눈앞에 있는 경기를
Well, first of all, I'm going to try to win all the matches that are in my way. And
사실 이
I just hope I don't
선수의
meet
커리어의
Zest
그
in my group.
그 자체로 이야기하기 어려운 게 항상 주성 선수가 있었거든요.
Yes, you always get bogged down by Zest.
요즘도 어떠신가요? 좀
So
힘드신가요?
how's Zest these days? How's
그냥
going up
이제
against him?
약간 포기했어요. 만나면
Well,
그냥
I've pretty much given up now.
네, 질 것 같아요.
I think if I do meet him,
인간
I think I'm
상성의
gonna lose.
벽은 참 높은 것 같습니다. 자, 그래도 백동지 선수 끝까지 저희가 응원을 하겠습니다.
But dear, we will
마지막으로
root you
한마디 들어볼게요.
in your future endeavors.
오늘
So
좀
anything you want to say
솔직히
before you go?
경기력이 좋지는 않았는데.
Well, you know, I've
그래도
got to say my performance wasn't all that good today.
많은 시간이 있으니까
But I do have plenty of time
열심히
until the round of
해서 더 좋은
16,
경기를
so I'm gonna try to
보여드리도록
step up my performance and get
네,
ready.
다시 한번 16강 진출
Once again,
축하드립니다.
congratulations on the win. Thank you.
네, 이렇게 2위
Thanks,
진출자
Andy. Excellent
백동준
work.
선수 만나봤는데요.
And congratulations
이조 경기
to Deer.
최종 정리 확인해 보시죠.
He moves on. These are the results, I think. I mean, if you had to guess, not guess, actually, if you had to bet on somebody, these are the people you pick.
This would basically be exactly how I would think it would go, too, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool to see T.Y. Mecking, by the way.
Yeah, that was some neat stuff, and I'm very excited to see if he does it again. But it's going to be a little bit, right? We have one more group, and then the round of 16 group selection. So the earliest we could see him play again, actually, I guess it's quicker than I thought, would be like a week and a half or so.
Can I just say this is the greatest picture of Special
It is an amazing
I have
picture
ever
of him.
seen.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to need, in this picture, I feel like Special, he needs to help us navigate the Nebuchadnezzar against the Sentinels. Okay, all these guys right now working on the Matrix spaceship.
Yeah.
And I only know that right now, Juanito is plugged in to the chair.
Look, based on these pictures, he's getting out of that group for sure.
For sure he's getting out of that group.
And honestly, he does very well against stats overall.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and Tasia, I wonder what type of form Tasia's really in. It's exciting to have him back here. But I think all the guys that had to go to military and came back, like Dream is the only one I'm really looking at with expectations, and even he didn't make it through. So I'm, in a group like this, Hurricane's in good shape right now as well. It's hard to imagine Tasia getting through, truly.
Now, remember that this group starts early.
Yes.
Excuse me. It's
that's
on
so important.
Wednesday at 5 p.m. And then when we're done, the group selection.
Yeah.
So, don't miss out on that. And then tomorrow, I said the wrong time earlier in the show. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. is the ASL finals. We have Queen versus Last. Flash has been eliminated in an
Tomorrow
upset.
At 5 p.m.
What did I say? 5?
You said 7 p.m.
I did it again?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
That's why he has to be here. I can't do this alone.
Yeah.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
And that's going to be an excellent finals.
Now I'm freaking myself out that I'm going to show up late. Be like, I said 7.
I thought it was at 7.
Me
It's
and
like,
the rest of the viewers will be like, I don't know. You guys have to wait.
Yeah.
Yes. So come watch that finals. It's going to be awesome. This season of ASL has been by far the best season of ASL we've ever had.
Yeah, it has
And,
been, actually. It has.
yeah.
As far as ASL goes, this is the best season we've had.
Yeah.
As far as Star Leagues and StarCraft 1 goes, it's one of the best easily. As well. We've just had a lot of close matches, a lot of huge names. Like, it's Zero versus Light. That is crazy. That is a great match. Everyone keeps asking me, who do you think? Who do you have? Who do you have favored?
really don't know personally.
No, really, they're the greatest match. It's like the match you want to see. It's not like when Flash is in there, you're like, yeah, I think Flash 4-0.
like, yeah,
no, this is like probably a 4-3 or a 4-2. Like, this is
Usually
close.
we end up with Flash in the finals, and it's like Return of the Jedi when that piggy guy fell in the pit and got eaten by that, what is that
By
thing called?
Flash.
By Flash. But what is that monster called? It's not the Snorlax pit. That's the second time they knocked people into a pit of with a monster that has the mouth in the sand. But what was the first one? Rancor pit.
Rancor pit. There you go. Wow.
Still got it.
Look at you.
Yeah, normally it's the green piggy guy in the Rancor pit is what a Flash finals is, but not this time.
Light versus Zero is
This
going to
time,
be insane.
it's a Rancor versus a Rancor, and they both fight with lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's going to be awesome. And, yeah, it's the best Zerg in the world. I don't know if we can call Light the best Terran in the world now that Flash is random.
Let's just do it.
I assume by the end
We
of
make
next,
the rules here.
By the end of the year, we'll probably call the best Zerg, Protoss, and Terran Flash, but maybe we can just call them best random.
That's all the time we have, guys. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we'll be back 5 p.m. KST for GSL Code S on Wednesday, and 5 p.m. KST for the ASL Finals. Stay safe. Wash your hands tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.